Now I'm on a bit of a rebuilding binge right now. My last video was a 25-year drafting only rebuild in a 0 overall league. Now it's time to do another 25-year rebuild, but this time we're doing it in the current NHL, and I'm going to be doing it for the New York Rangers. I'm taking over as GM for the New York Rangers for the next 25 years, and I'm going to turn this team into a dynasty, or at least that's the plan. Now when it comes to season number 1 for the New York Rangers, I'm actually not going to do anything. We're just going to simulate the 2025-2026 season, and then I'll take over during the off season. So we'll get this first season out of the way. So I guess you can make the argument that it's not a 25-year rebuild, but instead a 24-year rebuild, because the 2025-2026 season is just about all wrapped up. Our Stanley Cup final is set. It's the Carolina Hurricanes and Vegas Golden Knights. More than likely, game number 1 has already been played by this point, but that's neither here nor there. We have to accept that the 2025-2026 season is about to come to an end, so it doesn't really make sense for me to rewind time and start this rebuild at the beginning of the season. We have to get this season out of the way before I can really take over. So I think I've done enough yapping. Let's simulate season number 1 and see what happens. Now, season number 1 kind of worked out for us because it was somewhat realistic for the New York Rangers. They're going to be missing the playoffs, 21st in the entire league, so it's not quite 100% realistic, because if we wanted it to be really realistic, well, we should have been a bottom 5 team, but that's not going to be happening. So unfortunately, we are going to be missing out on a medium league potential prospect unless we can somehow move into the top 5, but I can't imagine that happening. When it comes to this New York Rangers rebuild, we are hitting the rebuild button. We're not doing some stupid retool with this team. Nah, we are straight up rebuilding them. We are going to be selling a lot of pieces away. We are embracing a new young core for the future. We're not going to try to do this retool or whatever they think they're doing over in New York. We are going to destroy this roster. We are going to start tanking, and we are going to rebuild from the ground up. Because let's face it, Zibanejad's not a part of the future. TJ Miller is not a part of the future. Vincent Trocheck is not a part of the future. There are so many old players on this team that are not a part of the future. So let's start moving on from these guys. So here's what I'm thinking for a trade. For some reason, the Carolina Hurricanes have the 7th overall pick from the Dallas Stars. So I'm going to give you Vincent Trocheck, and you're going to give me the 7th overall. We probably could have gotten a little bit more, but I think that's a great deal for us. We should be able to walk away with a medium league potential player now. Yeah, that was a steal. I'm also going to talk to basically everyone on this team that has a no movement. Like, is there a chance that you're willing to be moved somewhere? JT Miller, is there a team you're willing to be traded to? It doesn't look like it, so he's going to be sticking around. Zibanejad, I'm going to ask you the exact same thing. And then Gavrikov, I'm going to ask you the exact same thing. We got to move on from some of these guys. I think the only player I'm not going to talk to is Adam Fox, because I wouldn't mind keeping him around. When it comes to Zibanejad, it looks like the persuasion success is very convincing, so there should be 3 different teams we can trade him to. Perfect. So which 3 teams can we trade Zibanejad to? Detroit, LA, and Montreal? I think I can work with that. So here's what I'm going to try to do with Zibanejad. I'm going to flip him over to the Red Wings. Can we bring in Marco Kasper? They're going to be rejecting this deal, but I think if we can bring in a guy like Marco Kasper, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. I'll throw in 2 third-round picks. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. They're still saying we're a little bit off. I don't think we're too much further off. Here's 2 more third-rounders. I'm giving up 4 third-round picks in Zibanejad for Marco Kasper, and they're saying yes. So we got a good young centerman, and as long as he plays top-line minutes, he should be able to develop. Now, there's one player I'm really interested in bringing to the team, and I'm hoping the Calgary Flames pass up on him, but they're not. Vigo Bjork was the guy I wanted to originally bring to the team, so I guess we're going to be missing out on him. And instead, who do we bring in? I mean, I guess we could just bring in Belchez, or I can just trade the 7th overall pick for Vigo Bjork, and I think we'll just do that. Now, I do think there is a slight possibility I can just trade the 7th overall pick for Vigo Bjork. I think his trade value might not be high enough, but it looks like it is. So we have to throw something else into this deal. I'll give you a lucrative 7th round pick. So it's the 7th overall and the 197th overall. Vigo Bjork, welcome to the team. I mean, I think that's a relatively fair deal. I mean, in reality, if we did want to move up 1 spot, we probably would have had to give up a 2nd round pick. But yeah, this is a video game, and I want to fleece the Flames, so let me do it. Alright, so we're going to pull off another trade here, and what it's going to be is the 11th overall, the 22nd overall in Sakura. Braden Coots, Lekkermacki, and the 26th overall pick is going to be brought in. I guess they're saying no to that. I'll take out the 26th overall pick, and how about you just give me the 79th overall? I've traded all of our 3rd round picks away, so bringing in one here might make a little bit of sense, and it looks like they're going to be saying yes. So we are definitely embracing a new young core here, but truthfully, if the Rangers want to see success in the future, They do have to do that. Now, if we're going to be building our entire team around a new young core, you know what we need? Medium league potential prospects. So how about we draft one in the 5th round? We're going to be securing a 48 overall defenseman. He's entering the league as a two-way defender. I'm not 100% sold on this guy right now. Like, he's 18 years old and only a 49 overall. So what is he really going to develop into? I have no clue. But hey, worst case scenario, we can trade him away next season and we can probably get a 1st round pick for him and maybe even turn that 1st round pick into an elite potential prospect. You never know. We're also going to be securing this medium top 6 potential player later in the draft. He's a 51 overall at 18 years old. So yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not sure if the 51 overall player is going to develop, let alone the 49 overall player. Also, we're not quite done with the elite potential players yet. Now we're getting a low elite potential player in the 6th round. He's the 49 overall though. So yeah, you know my thoughts about him already. So we have $37 million to work with. So that means extensions are going to be pretty easy. Brain Schneider, we're starting with you. You're up to an 87 overall, and we're going to be locking you down for $5.5 million for the next 6 seasons. I think that's an absolute steal. When it comes to everyone else, yeah, it's probably two-way contracts, so you leave the team. I'm not giving anyone a big bag here. I mean, I can probably bring back Vinny for $1.4 million. Like, that's relatively reasonable. So moving into the offseason, we have $31 million to work with. So when it comes to extensions, they should be relatively easy. Will Cooley, can I do an 8-year deal with you? For some reason, you only want $4.5 million, you're 86 overall if we did 8 years. So yeah, we're just going to lock down Will Cooley, $5.7 million. I'll give you a modified no trade. Yeah, we're probably going to get this deal done. This is an absolute steal. There's no reason you should accept a contract like this, but I think you will. So welcome back to the team. Noah Laba, you're actually up to an 84 overall, so I'm willing to keep you on the team for $2.6 million. You're a good young guy we can build around. Another player that we're building around, Marco Casper. But this is stupid. $8.1 million. Yeah, that's not happening, buddy. You're an 83 overall and you want that? Gabe Pro, just 2.1. But yeah, 8.1 million. Who do you think you are? Like, I've seen some ridiculous contract asks in my day, but that is stupid. Like, beyond stupid. Ty Karche, how much are you looking for? 1.8 million. Sure, I can give you that. Lekermacki, how much do you want? I think I'm going to play you in the top 6 this season. I'll do 2.4 for 1 season. That's not too bad. And then truthfully, with everyone else, we're probably looking at two-way contracts. So we have $31 million right now in cap space. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I want to bring in anyone for more than 1 season. So Brent Burns, you probably make the most sense, but I believe you are asking for a top 4 role. And you know what? Maybe I can give that to you. Actually, no, I can't, because Braden Schneider is also playing on the right side, and you are definitely not playing over Braden Schneider, so that's not happening. Patrick Kane, you have 0 organizational interest, so you're not joining the team. And then with everyone else, they're all looking for multiple seasons. Maybe I can convince Gudis to sign a 1-year deal. What if I just overpay a ton? Like, what if I give you $7 million for 1 season to play third pairing minutes? Gudis, welcome to the team. That's a perfect deal. Corey Perry, I can bring you in for 1 season. You can play some bottom 6 minutes at $2.7 million. And then we'll sign one more player to a pretty expensive deal. Eric Holla, I'm willing to give you $5 million. I'll give you $5 million. We'll reach the salary cap floor, and then we'll be ready for next season. At the end of the day, we are not looking to compete early on. We are looking to build this team for the future. We are not ready to win quite yet. In a matter of 3 years, though, well, that's going to be a different story. So here's the new look New York Rangers heading into season number 2. And wow, we are going to be very, very bad this season. But that's a part of the plan. We are building for the future. Braden Kutz isn't on the team yet. Vigo Bjork isn't on the team quite yet. So we have 2 good young players in the system. When it comes to a lot of our other guys, they're getting top 6 minutes this season, so they should develop. And then on top of that, we still have 92 overall Igor Shesterkin in between the pipes. At any point to see if a modified no trade, it doesn't look like it. Because all I'm saying is 5 years down the road, it might make sense to trade Igor Shesterkin away because he's not going to be a part of this team's future moving forward. But for these next couple years, he can definitely be our guy. At the end of the day, I think we're striving for the 1st overall pick this season. We are not looking to win a Stanley Cup, nor do I think we can even compete for a Stanley Cup. It's going to take us 2 to 3 years to break down this Rangers team, and then another 2 to 3 to build it up. So don't expect us to be competitive until around 2030. But once we are competitive, we're going to be taking over the league. So let's go ahead and simulate up to the trade deadline, and then of course we'll make some moves accordingly. But while I go ahead and do that, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You seem pretty committed to this 25-year rebuild. Like, you've already made it to season number 2, so how about you commit to the Stick on the Ice YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the postseason, and of course the Stanley Cup final is already underway, so we don't have too much time left, so make sure you hit that button down below right now. Now, things are certainly going according to plan for the New York Rangers. We're one of the worst teams in the entire league, but I know we can be worse than this. Okay, apparently we're not one of the worst teams in the entire league. We're 19th in the entire league. Now, I need the Rangers to start losing some more games. There's no reason we should be winning as many games as we are. We need to be a bottom 5 team. Adam Fox is looking really good so far, 61 points in 62 games. Marco Kasper's taking the next step, 23 goals, 28 assists for 51 points. He's up to an 86 overall. That's what I wanted to see. He's over doubled his points from last season. That's what happens when you get an opportunity in the top 6. Noah Laba's picking up 47 points, Lafreniere 44, JT Miller only 35. Now we got to move on from bro. Hopefully he's going to be willing to be traded away because I don't want to keep him on the team. Lekkernmäki, 16 goals, 14 assists for 30 points. He's up to an 83 overall. A lot of the young players are developing here. Will Cooley, you're a bit of a disappointment this season, but you're still an 86 overall, so I'm not going to worry too much. Meanwhile, Igor Shesterkin, your numbers are going to be bad because we have a bad team in front of you. It's as simple as that. So let's go ahead and make some moves here. And Adam Fox, I know I said I wasn't going to trade you, but it might make sense. Maybe not this season, but next season. And yeah, we will trade you away next season. A 16 team, no trade kicks in next season. I could trade you away to the San Jose Sharks. They get the defenseman they need, and we could also bring in a handful of really good young prospects. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Until then, though, we have to trade some of the other players away. And JT Miller, you are one of those players. Are you willing to be traded now? It doesn't look like it. Maybe there's 2 teams you're willing to go to. Nope, he's sticking around. I don't even want bro on the team, but he keeps saying, no, I'm coming back for one more. Meanwhile, when it comes to Gavrikov, you are not a part of this team's future. Your trade value is decently high. Maybe we can ship you out. Is there 2 teams you're willing to go to? No, there is not. Okay, so I guess we're not making any trades here because nobody wants to leave. Now, I think we have to bring some more young players to the team. So Holmstrom and Hyman, how about I bring both you guys in? I mean, you're not overly young. You're both 25 years old. But I mean, that is better than 41-year-old Corey Perry. And then Gudis, you got to be like 36 or something. Yeah, we're definitely getting a lot younger in this deal. We're retaining half of Gudis's contract to make it happen. I'll throw in a 3rd round pick, and that should be enough to get it done. But maybe we don't need to throw in a 3rd rounder. How about I throw in a 7th rounder? The lucrative 7th rounders always get it done. Okay, before we simulate any further, Marco Kasper, have you smartened up a little bit? I hate this deal. Like, this is objectively a terrible deal, but I want to bring him back to the team. So here's 9.2 million for the next 4 years. I hate myself for making that deal. Hyndman, how much are you looking for? 2.6 million. What if we did 2 years? I'll do 2.7 for the next 2 years. That's really fair for him. And then Holmstrom, how much are you going to be looking for? 3.2 million. What if we did multiple seasons? I'll do 3.2 million for 2 years. That's pretty fair as well. So we just spent a lot of money on extensions, and I wouldn't say any of these players are necessarily going to become superstars for us. But hey, we're going to be worse to finish out the season, so hopefully we're going to be able to walk away with a valuable draft pick. Now, to finish out the season, of course, we're all expecting the Rangers are going to be a dumpster fire. But nope, 14th in the entire league and we're making the playoffs. So since we're here, we might as well win. Our goal differential was 0. We're not good at scoring. We're not good at keeping the puck out of our net, but we're here. And if we're going to be here, we might as well try to win. I haven't really processed how we've made to this point, but yeah, we are a postseason team in year number 2 in the middle of our rebuild. I am trying to sell off players so we're bad and we can rebuild. But instead our team's just like, no, we're going to start winning and we're going to try to win a Stanley Cup even though we're not ready. Like seriously, there is no reason the Rangers should be in the postseason right now. We should be one of the worst teams in the entire league, but apparently we're going to try to compete with some of the best teams in the NHL. We're losing game 1, we're losing game 2. Like we did all of this just to get swept in the first round. We snuck into the postseason only to immediately lose in the first round. Like, what was the point in this? What was the point in even making it to the postseason? We clearly weren't ready. This wasn't a part of the plan. So instead of bringing in a super elite prospect that we could build our team around, we're going to be eliminated in the first round and we're going to be looking at like the 17th overall. So after losing in the first round to the Red Wings, I guess they're just going to dominate the rest of the postseason and they're going to go on to win a Stanley Cup. When it comes to our postseason numbers, I'm really not that concerned with them because the goal wasn't even to make the playoffs, but somehow we did. Marco Kasper, you're up to an 87 overall. That's actually a good sign for the future. When it comes to goaltending, Igor Shesterkin, you had numbers. But yeah, it's time for us to make some aggressive moves. JT Miller, please tell me you're willing to be traded. I don't want to bring you back to the team next season. You are not a part of this future. Please let me trade you away. Same with Gavrikov. Like, I want to move on from both of those guys. No, I didn't realize it, but JT Miller's modified no trade actually kicks in next season. So really the only guy I have to convince about a trade is Gavrikov. And is he willing to be traded? Nope. I guess he's just going to stick around for the entire video. Like, we just can't trade, bro, no matter what we do. He wants to stick around with the franchise, but I can't really blame him. Like, we're building something special here. Now, when it comes to the 19th overall pick, there's not really any prospects I'm interested in, but you know what? We could ship out this pick over to the St. Louis Blues and bring in Jimmy Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. St. Louis is going to be saying no, which they probably should be, but I feel like if I throw something else into this deal, we can get it done. Like Hyman, I can probably trade you away. I know I just acquired you and gave you an extension, but I prefer Jimmy Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. We can also probably get a third round pick back from the St. Louis Blues. So how about you give me a future third rounder? But I guess you don't have any third rounders for 2028. So how about you give me a second rounder instead? I still think we can get this deal done, and it looks like we can. Okay, I was about to be really gassed up about this selection, but ain't no way we just drafted an enforcer. Bobby Swift, you are actually so useless. So after acquiring both Jake Neighbors and Jimmy Snuggerud, we do have to give both of them extensions, and Jake Neighbors is looking for $5.4 million. I'm not quite willing to do that, so how about we get this down to $4.8 million for the next 5? We still have a lot of cap space, so I feel like that deal makes sense. And then Jimmy Snuggerud, $3.5 for the next 2 years. I'm actually not willing to do that. How about we do less? $3.3 for the next 2 sounds a bit more reasonable. So Jimmy Snuggerud, welcome to the team. Also, I feel like we just have way too many power forwards now. But you know what? We vibe. I'd rather have a power forward over a grinder, so it still works out for us. And then when it comes to everyone else, it's two-way contracts, so you leave the team. Simple as that. Now, when I said earlier the plan is to build an elite young core, I wasn't lying. Adam Fox, I'm sending you over to the Calgary Flames, which is actually pretty ironic. Belchez, Zane Parekh, Alexei Joseph, and 2 first-round picks are all going to be acquired. If they're saying no, I'll take Belchez out of the deal, and then we'll get Zane Parekh, Alexei Joseph, and 2 first-rounders. Nah, we fleece Calgary. We know they're going to be a bad team. Those first-round picks are going to be pretty valuable, and we're going to capitalize on their value. But now it's time for us to move on from JT Miller, because we can finally trade him away. And where are we going to be sending him? I haven't quite decided yet. Now, when it comes to JT Miller, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to send him over to the Vegas Golden Knights. You're going to give us Trevor Connolly, but you're also giving us a first round pick, but not for next season or the season after that. You're giving me a 2033 first round pick, and I'm going to bank on you guys being absolute buns in the future. You might not be, but you very well could be, because you guys are going to be a relatively old team, and I'm thinking with everyone regressing, that pick should be quite valuable. Now, I am fully expecting the New York Rangers are going to be complete buns next season. Like, there is no way we win more than probably 25 games. A lot of our young players are going to be playing big minutes for us. Gudas, welcome back to the team. And here's your $7 million because we need to reach the salary cap floor. The salary cap is just climbing too fast. We have way too many guys in their entry-level contracts. So Gudas, here's your $7 million. That leaves us with about $27 million in cap space. So we can bring in somebody else on a 1-year deal. And you know what? How about we make that player Vladimir Tarasenko? I understand he's interested in 2 seasons, but how about 1 season at $8 million? I think that's enough to change your mind. Actually, we won't do $8 million. We'll just do 7.5. So Tarasenko will get back to us. There's no way he turns that deal down, right? Also, I guess we do need a backup goaltender. So who do we want to bring to the team? Binner, that's a no-brainer. I'm also going to give you like $7 million. Once again, it's to help us reach the salary cap floor. So Binner, welcome to the team. $7 million for 1 season. That should help us. So now that I gave out all those stupid 1-year deals, let's go hand out some extensions, because there are a handful of players that need extensions. One of those players, of course, being Lekkermacki, but I can't give him an extension quite yet. I can give Zane Parekh an extension, and I'd like to do as long as possible, but it looks like he's only looking for 2 seasons right now, so I think we'll hold off with him. There's actually a good chance we hold off with everyone now. I mean, Brett Berard, I guess we can do 1.1 for 1 season. That's not terrible. So I think after all the moves we've made, the New York Rangers are now the youngest team in the NHL. Like, I think the oldest player in our forward core right now is Alexis Lafreniere, and he's really not that old right now. How old is Lafreniere? He's 25. So that's actually a lie, because Holmstrom is 26 years old. But yeah, we have a very, very young team. All these guys are going to keep on developing. This is going to be a rough season for us. The Rangers are certainly going to be a bad team, but if everyone continues to develop on this team, I think we're 3 years away. Okay, so I knew we were going to be bad, but I didn't think we would actually be this bad. We've won 3 games so far, so we're guaranteed a top 3 pick, because we will be the worst team in the entire league. The plan was to be bad this season and let the young guys develop. but I didn't think we would be this bad. So we made it to the trade deadline. I have some fantastic news. We're the worst team in the entire league, a 19-37-6 record. We're scoring 2.74 goals per game and allowing 3.74. So clearly we are one of the worst teams in the entire league, but that's kind of what we were looking for. We're trying to build a new young core here, and in order to do that, we do have to tank. Marco Kasper, he's up to an 88 overall. Lekkermaki's an 85 and he has 21 goals so far. Jake Neighbors 33 points. Will Cooley 33 points. Low key, I think we're going to end up trading Will Cooley away. I thought his contract was going to be an absolute steal, but I'm starting to second guess myself. Noah Laba, I think we actually might trade you away as well, because I feel like your trade value is way higher than what it should be. So we might try to capitalize on that. Braden Coots, 23 points so far. Vigo Bjork, 21 points. At the end of the day, both these guys are rookies, but Vigo Bjork is up to an 85. Braden Coots, please tell me you're an 85 as well. It looks like you're only an 81 overall. And at 21 years old, you don't have too much time to develop, so your overall better start climbing pretty quick. So we are looking at making some trades here. Noah Laba, you are one guy I'm contemplating moving, and I think we will do that, because if I remember, his trade value was actually relatively high. It looks like it has fallen off a little bit, but even still, I think we should capitalize on this. All right, so this is what I think we're going to do. Will Cooley, I think you're losing your role in the top 6, so I'm going to move on from you. Braden Coots is also going to be shipped out here, because I think Vigo Bjork is going to be our number 2 centerman moving forward. I'm kind of concerned on your development, so I'm going to ship you out as well. Cole Hudson and Furcus are both being brought in, so we get a new left defenseman who's an 82 overall. I think Cole Hudson has a lot of potential. Granted, it's kind of unfair to say Braden Coots isn't going to develop when he's an 81 overall at 21 years old, and then say Cole Hudson will develop when he's an 82 overall at 21 years old. But given the role that Cole Hudson's going to be playing, I think he's going to have a better opportunity. Furcus is also going to be brought into place in bottom 6 minutes. The Seattle Kraken are accepting this deal. We're setting ourselves up for a lot of success in the future, and I'm actually very excited to see what we're going to do next season. So I expect that next season, the Rangers are actually going to be a really good team. Now you might be thinking I am absolutely insane for thinking this. Like, we're the worst team in the entire league this season. How on earth could we turn it around in one season? Well, it's actually very simple. The players develop. Marco Kasper's an 89 overall. Lafreniere's an 88 overall. Lekkermaki somehow dropped 1 overall. Jake Neighbors is an 86. Gabe Perreault an 83. Jimmy Snuggerud an 84. Wow, nobody developed. Vigo Bjork actually dropped to an 83 overall. Okay, we're gonna pretend I actually didn't see those overalls. I was so gassed up heading into next season. I am no longer gassed up. The Buffalo Sabres Stanley Cup champions, but no, I'm not gonna quit betting on my team. I believe that we can be an elite team next season. We're dropping from 1 to 3. It could be worse. Hopefully there's a franchise potential player projected number 1 so we can move up in the draft. And now that I think about it, there actually is a franchise potential player in this draft, and his name is Maddox Schultz. So yeah, I guess we could just bring him to the team with the 3rd overall. But I don't really want to bring in Maddox Schultz, because I don't really think he fits a role on this team. I mean, he definitely does, but I'd rather go with somebody else. And how about we go with this left defenseman right here? We could desperately use a left defenseman on the team, but then again, Maddox Schultz. So yeah, that's a tough decision to make. So with the 3rd overall pick, I think we will just keep it simple. Maddox Schultz is going to be brought to the team. He is the clear number 1 player available here. So yeah, we'll bring him in. He's going to be our number 1 centerman. That means Lafreniere is expendable, so I think we should try to move on from him. All right, so what I'm going to do is Lafreniere is going to be sent over to Seattle. Sokolov is going to be brought to the team. He's an 84 overall, medium league potential sniper. I think he can develop into a really good sniper. 1-for-1 apparently is going to be enough in this deal, and that's great. Also, you remember this medium league potential player that we drafted in the 5th round? He's developed to an 84 overall. So yeah, he's jumped into the lineup next season. Him and Cole Hudson are going to be our 1 and 2 guys. Gavrikov is going to be playing on the 3rd pairing. No, we have a good young team here. As long as these guys develop, we're going to be all right. Also, I completely forgot that we owned Calgary's pick, and that pick was not valuable. I'm actually very surprised at that. So yeah, it turns out we're not going to be getting an elite player with this pick, unless this guy happens to have medium elite potential, but he definitely doesn't. Medium top 9. So that sucks. Now this is actually going to be the first elite potential player of the draft, because when it came to our first pick, it was actually a franchise potential player. So Naslin, you're actually going to be the first elite potential player that we've secured in this draft. So we have $47 million in cap space. Zane Parekh, it looks like you're willing to sign a 5-year deal, but I want to lock you down for the next 8 years. I'll give you no movement, and I'll even give you $10.6 million. You're going to be a superstar for us. This is an absolute no-brainer. So Zane Parekh, welcome back to the team. 10.6 for the next 8 seasons. And then when it comes to our medium league potential player, well, I'm just going to be giving them their entry level contract. Lecker, I'm a little bit disappointed in you so far. I was really thinking you were going to turn to an elite sniper, but that hasn't happened quite yet. So here's 4.9 million for the next 5 years. Gudis, you're going to be leaving the team. Tarasenko, you're going to be leaving as well. I have no clue how we're going to make up like $30 million in cap space in order to reach the cap floor. That actually might be quite difficult. Okay, I don't think we should be overly surprised, but Zane Parekh is going to be saying no. So I'll do 7.6 million for the next 5 years, and then he'll accept that deal. Now, Sokolov, I do need to bring you back to the team. You're an 84 overall at 20 years old. You're only looking for 3.3 million. I'll give you 3.2 for the next 2 years. I think that's relatively reasonable. Cole Hudson, of course, I have to give you a long-term deal. You want 3 years at 5.5. What if we did 4 years? I'll do 4 years at 5.8 million. I think that's relatively fair. So Cole Hudson, welcome back to the team. And then with everyone else, I don't think we really have to worry. These are going to be a lot of cheap contracts. Vinny, here's 2.5 million. Ty Cartier, I think you've been the AHL for us, but here's 1.4 million. Furcus, you played some fourth line minutes last season. I think you can do that again. Here's 800K for the next 2. I guess Holmstrom also needs a contract extension. What's he looking for? 2.8 million. I think that works. And then Jimmy Snuggerud, I'm going to keep it $150. I think we're actually trading you away. Meanwhile, with everyone else, of course, it's 2-way contracts. All right, so I think we should pull off a big deal here. So Alexei Joseph, a 2nd and 7th rounders being sent over to Utah. Dylan Gunther, welcome to the team. You're going to be an amazing sniper for us. So I think the plan should be Maddox Schultz, Marco Kasper, and Dylan Gunther on the top line. And then on the second line, Sokolov, Bjork, and then probably Jake Neighbors for now until we bring in a different power forward. Now, I think we could use a playmaker for the bottom 6, and I think Sale could be that guy. So Holmstrom, a 6th round pick and a 7th round pick is going to be given up in this deal. Heading into this season, we had goals of competing for a Stanley Cup, and now that I look at this team, I think that's very possible. Now, before we spend a majority of our money in free agency, Sebastian Kosa, here's 800K for 1 season. You're going to be the backup behind Igor Shesterkin. Now, when it comes to the UFAs that we can bring in here, who do I want to throw some bags at? Like, Brady Tkachuk is interesting. Zegras and Orensky are both also very interesting. But I don't really know if I want to be committing a bunch of money to you guys, especially when you're on long-term deals. As much as I think we're going to be competing for a Stanley Cup, I'm not really sure if I want to go all in quite yet. Granted, we do have to spend some money here. So Ricard Raquel, I guess I'll bring you to the team. And I'm going to throw you an absolute bag. Like, we have $32 million in cap space. I'm going to give you $10 million. Like, if I don't give you $10 million, I have no clue how we would even reach the salary cap floor. So after making that move, we have $23 million left in cap space. I can throw an absolute bag at one more player. And who do I want that player to be? Ideally, probably a playmaker. But at the end of the day, if it's going to be a 1-year deal, does it really matter? So I guess with that being said, JT Comper, here's like 5.6 million or something. Actually, let's make that 6.5 million for 1 season. There you go. We've reached the salary cap floor. No more concerns. Now, this rebuild has been a long time coming, but I think it's finally time for the New York Rangers to take over. We have the defense, we have the offense, of course, we have the goaltender. Igor Shesterkin, we're still going to have you for a couple more good years. But when we hit this team's prime, unfortunately, you're not going to be here. But hey, that doesn't mean you can't win a Stanley Cup with the team right now. We have all the potential in the world. We have a great young team that's going to keep on building. It's only a matter of time before this team wins a Stanley Cup. And then once we start winning, we're not going to stop. Now, Ranger fans have been in the trenches for the past couple of years, but you don't have to worry because this team is turning it around. 12th in the entire league, a 34-22-6 record. And keep in mind, this team is incredibly young, so they're going to be even better next season, even better the year after that. We are trending upwards, and I'm happy to say this is the beginning of our dynasty. Marco Kasper, 68 points, Dylan Gunther, 61, Zane Parekh, 52, Jake Neighbors. I think eventually we will be replacing you on the second line, but when it comes to Sokolov and Viggo Bjork, they're holding up their end of the bargain. They're 2 great second line players for me. I just need to let them develop. Meanwhile, Maddox Schultz, I was kind of hoping you'd be higher overall by now. You're up to an 84. You only have 34 points so far. That's a bit disappointing, I'm not going to lie. But hey, we're currently sitting in a postseason spot. The team is looking way better than we have in the past. Let's not rush the process here. Let's just stick with what we have. All right, so you remember how I said we're not going to be making any moves here? Well, I actually lied. Vinny and a 1st round pick is going to be sent over to Detroit. We're bringing in Edvinsson. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth did we trade for Edvinsson? Well, it's because we're going to package him up with something else, and we're going to be bringing a superstar power forward to the team. Now, we have had a lot of power forwards on our team in the past, but none of them have been quite like this player. So when it comes to the second part of our 3-team trade, what's that going to be? Jake Neighbors, Edvinsson, and a 6th round pick sent over to Montreal. Slavkovsky and a 2nd round pick. Welcome to the team. He's going to be playing some amazing second line minutes defense for us. He's definitely an upgrade from Jake Neighbors. Slafkovsky just simulates better in this game, so I think it makes sense to acquire him. So one season ago, the New York Rangers were the worst team in the entire league. Now they're 9th in the entire league and they're competing for a Stanley Cup. A 45-30-7 record. We scored 3.6 goals per game this season, allowed 3.21, so that's something we certainly have to address moving forward. We have to be better defensively, but I think that's going to come with all the players developing, so I don't think we have to worry too much. Dylan Guenther's leading the way, 89 points, 43 goals and 46 helpers. Marco Kasper, 89 points. Zane Parekh, 70. Sokolov, he's picking up 56, including 36 goals. I brought you in to score goals, and that's exactly what you did this season. And Slafkovsky, what'd you do since joining the team? I hope you were a big help. And 15 points in 20 games really isn't too bad, but I don't like the fact that you're a -1. But hey, I'm not going to overthink things. You're going to be an amazing addition to the second line. Maddox Schultz, only 45 points. Definitely disappointing, but hey, if we win a Stanley Cup, then there's nothing for me to complain about. Igor Shesterkin, you had numbers this season. You'll have a better defense in front of you next season, so I'm not too worried. We're taking on the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round. Let's go on a deeper run. We were able to make the playoffs 2 seasons ago, but at the end of the day, we weren't ready the last time we were in the playoffs, and I'm not even 100% sure if we're ready now. However, I do think we can put up a bigger fight, so let's start winning some games. We're winning game number 1 and we're winning game number 2. We are making a statement right here. Can we win game 3 and game 4? If we sweep the Philadelphia Flyers, that proves to the rest of the league that we're legit, and yeah, we're legit. So we're moving on to the second round after a sweep over the Philadelphia Flyers. The boys are looking good right now, but can we keep that offense going? That's the real question. Because at the end of the day, we weren't the greatest defensively in the first round, but apparently we're just going to score a million goals. We are going to ride with our offense. 8-0 so far in the postseason. We're moving on to the conference finals. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs up next. We haven't lost a game so far. We are on an 8-game winning streak, but we're finally going to be losing a game, and that's going to come in game number 1. We've split the series so far against Toronto. Can we win game number 5? Yes, we can. We are 1 victory away from the Stanley Cup final, and we are making it there. In year number 4, we've made it to the Stanley Cup final. 1 team stands in front of us, and that's going to be the Dallas Stars. But with the way this team is scoring goals, I don't think anyone can stop us. The New York Rangers are 1 game away from hoisting the Stanley Cup, but can they win in game 6? Yes, they can. The Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. I know there were a handful of people questioning this team. They were questioning some of the moves I was making, but here we are in just season number 4, and we're Stanley Cup champs. The New York Rangers are stepping up big time. When it mattered most, we found the back of the net. Marco Kasper, 10 goals, 16 assists for 26 points. Dylan Guenther, 10 goals, 13 assists, 23 points. Sokolov, he's picking up 14 goals. We were just lighting the lamp during this postseason. Like, we scored a million goals. Who cares if the defense wasn't that great? But it actually was pretty solid. Igor Shesterkin's finally winning his first Stanley Cup. 16 wins, 1 shutout, a 928 and a 229. This is the beginning of the Rangers' new dynasty. We still have 21 years left in this rebuild. At the very minimum, 7 more Stanley Cups. We should be winning at least 1 Stanley Cup every 3 years moving forward. So things are looking amazing for the New York Rangers, but I think they're about to look a little bit better because we're going to head to the draft lottery, and what pick are we walking away with? The 5th overall. We're going to receive the 5th overall pick from the Calgary Flames. Now, things are looking really good for the Rangers. Not only did we just win a Stanley Cup, but now we get to add the 5th best prospect in the upcoming draft. Alright, so I want to move up to the 4th overall pick because there's a player I'm actually relatively interested there. So I'm going to give up the 5th overall and a future 3rd rounder. They're saying no, we have to give up the 7th as well, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Because with the 4th overall pick, we're actually going to be getting a pretty solid prospect. I guess we don't have a 7th, so we're throwing in a 5th, but who cares? So with the 4th overall pick, the New York Rangers are going to go with Ken Shields, a medium elite potential sniper. He can play on the left and right side. With the 5th overall pick, we would have been bringing a playmaker to the team, and I didn't necessarily want that. So Shields, I think you're going to fill a role that we're missing on our team. Now, it appears the elite prospects are not done because now we're getting a high elite potential goaltender. Now, here's our Igor Shesterkin replacement. Brock Landry, you're going to be amazing. So we've drafted a medium elite potential player, a high elite potential player, so there's only one thing left, a low elite potential player in the 5th round. So heading into the offseason, we have $27 million to work with. So we can hand out a bunch of 1-year deals. Sale, here's $3.6 million. Is it a little bit expensive for you? Yeah, but we have more than enough money. Jimmy Snugrud, is 4.3 too much? Yes, but we have more than enough money. JT Comper, I'm not bringing you back to the team. Berard, I guess I can bring you back. $825K, let's do multiple years. I'll do $975K for 2 seasons. Rickard Rakell, you're going to be walking. And then with everyone else, two-way contracts. And then when it comes to that sniper that we just drafted 4th overall, I think we're going to give him another year to develop because there's really no place for him in the lineup right now. Also, Sebastian Cosa, you were good enough last season. Here's $825K. You're going to be returning for another season. So we're the reigning Stanley Cup champions with basically $1 billion in cap space. Like, I'm not worried about anything right now. This team will be even better next season. Vigo Bjork, I'm looking to give you an 8-year deal. 8 years is only $9.2 million, and I think that's an absolute steal. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a no movement, $10 million for the next 8 seasons. I think that's going to be an amazing deal for him. Hopefully he's going to be accepting. Will Borgren, stick on the ice legend. We're going to be letting you walk. Taylor Radish, you're going to be walking as well. Gabe Perreault, honestly, I think there's a pretty good chance you walk. You don't really fit a role in this team anymore. Laba, we'll see what you're looking for, but I think you're going to be walking as well. I mean, $3 million for one season is not too bad, so I guess I'll do that. And then with everyone else, two-way contracts like usual. So we have $21 million in cap space, and I think we could use a centerman on the team. And how about we bring back Vinny Trocheck? Vinny Trocheck is coming back to the team, $8 million for one season. He's going to play some third line minutes. Who would have thought that Vinny Trocheck would be coming back all these years later? But I guess he is. We could also use a couple other pieces on the team. Sean Walker for one season. I don't really want to give you $7 million. Honestly, I think Vinny Trocheck might be our only signing because I feel like nobody else really fits a role here. I mean, Ryan McLeod, $2.8 million isn't that bad. So I'll do 2.8 for the next 2 years. You can play some fourth line minutes or something. All right, so I guess Ryan McLeod is not going to be joining the team. Hopefully Vinny Trocheck is, and it looks like he is, so he's going to be playing some bottom 6 minutes. But yeah, we're ready to roll. Vigo Bjork is going to be accepting his 8-year extension. Things are looking amazing for the Rangers right now. So the New York Rangers are our reigning Stanley Cup champions, and this team is looking to build on that heading into this season. The offense is better, the defense is better, goaltending is basically the exact same, but that's already looking elite. So the Rangers dynasty has officially begun. I don't see why we can't go back-to-back. Honestly, I don't see why we can't win 5 Stanley Cups in a row. We have the goaltender, we have the defense, we have the forwards, we have the coaching staff. There's really nothing wrong with this team. And because I don't think there's anything wrong with this team, I don't think there's any point in stopping at the trade deadline. Let's just go right to the end of the season and dominate. So to finish up season number 5, the Rangers are 3rd in the entire league, a 50-22-10 record. We're looking to win back-to-back Stanley Cups here, and I don't see why we can't do that. We have everything we could possibly need. The top guys looked amazing this season. However, maybe not. The second line was a bit of a disappointment. Sokolov, Bjork, Slafkovsky, I'm expecting a lot more from you guys, and you definitely let me down during the regular season. But I don't care if you let me down during the regular season, especially if you step up during the postseason, and that's what I'm expecting here. I need all of you guys to take the next step. We're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. Let's go back-to-back. So we're looking to win back-to-back Stanley Cups with the New York Rangers right here. We're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. I think eventually it's going to simulate, and it looks like it finally is. We're getting through game number 1, but we're dropping game number 2. Okay, that's not really ideal. I would have preferred a 2-0 series lead. Luckily, we're taking a 2-1 series lead, but then we're dropping the next game after that. So we've split the series against the Blue Jackets. We should not be struggling against the Columbus Blue Jackets. We should be able to take them down. Why are we not scoring, and why are we playing some poor defense? Last postseason, we were absolutely dominating. Now we're struggling against the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. That just can't happen. Granted, we are playing against Jack Reeves, and he's pretty solid, but I guess he's not solid enough. Will Borgen's picking up the game-winning goal, and now we're off to Game 7. So Game 7 is going to be deciding it all. Can we move on to the second round? I would hope so. Considering we finished 3rd in the entire league, we shouldn't be struggling in the first round as much as we are. We should be able to move on. In the first period, it's going to be scoreless. Moving on to the second period, we're taking a 2-0 lead. I'm pretty sure we can hold on to this one, and it looks like we can. We're going to be winning this game 4-0, and we're advancing to the second round. I have no clue why we struggled as much as we did, but hey, we're moving on to the second round, and that's really all that matters. The Philadelphia Flyers are going to be the next team up. It's a brand new series. A new best-of-7 series starts right here. So how about we sweep the Philadelphia Flyers? We've won 3 games in a row. Can we make it 4 games in a row? Yes, we can. Can we at least take a 3-1 series lead? It looks like it. So we're 1 game away from advancing to the conference finals. We're going to be dropping game number 5. That's perfectly fine because we'll just win game number 6 and we're moving on. I never questioned this team for a second. We're advancing to the conference finals, and now we have the Buffalo Sabres. Now, normally, I would call Buffalo a dumpster fire and a poverty franchise, but they are not that anymore. The Buffalo Sabres have finally figured it out. They're actually a competitive team now. I never thought I'd see the day. It's a best of 3 series moving forward. We're winning game number 5, so now if we win game 6, we move on to the Stanley Cup final, and here we go. Our opportunity to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. Can we pick up 2 Stanley Cups in the first 5 years? Well, we're about to find that out, and I think the answer is yes, because we're sweeping the Anaheim Ducks. Back-to-back Stanley Cups for the New York Rangers already. In season number 5, we've already won 2. No, we're going for the three-peat next season. Marco Kasper, 12 goals, 15 assists, 27 points. Dylan Gunther, 20 points. Slavkovsky, 17. I just want to point out our second line stepped up big time for us. Last season, they were a bit of a letdown, but not this time. They stepped up when we needed them. Meanwhile, Igor Shesterkin, he helped quite a bit. 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 933 and a 212. Shesterkin has back-to-back Stanley Cups, and moving into next season, he's looking to win 3 in a row. Now, we only had 3 picks in the upcoming draft, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get any notable prospects, but we're back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Do you think I'm really going to worry about missing out on 3 picks? Absolutely not. So we're moving into the offseason with a ton of cap space. Vinny Trocheck is looking for an extension, and you know what? We're bringing him back to the team. He played some amazing third-line minutes last season. He's an 88 overall right now. I'll give you a full no movement. I don't even care. Vinny Trocheck is 1000% coming back to this team. I'll do $5.5 million for 1 season. Welcome back, Trocheck. Now, when it comes to everyone else, honestly, I'm not worried about a bunch of these guys. I mean, Will Borgren did score a big-time goal, but I'm not giving you a 3-year deal. Sale, how much are you looking for? Hopefully, it's a 1-year deal. You want 5.8 for 2 years? Yeah, I can't do that. So you're going to be walking. Snuggerud, how much do you want? 4.2 for 1 season. I can do that. Gabe Perreault, I don't think you're going to be coming back to this team. More than likely, you're going to be walking. And yeah, you're 1000% walking. I'm not giving you that. I'm not even going to qualify you as an RFA. That's how insulted I am about that offer. And then Taylor Radish, I think you're going to walk as well. So we'll go ahead and sign a bunch of these rookies. And then the 4th overall pick from 2 seasons ago is going to be joining the team. And he's going to play some bottom 6 minutes alongside Vincent Trocheck and Jimmy Snuggerud. Now, the salary cap has been incredibly easy to manage up until this point right here, because now we have to hand out the big deals. And Marco Kasper, normally I wouldn't give you 16.7, but you have been a superstar for us recently. So I'm actually going to give you a ton of money here. We'll do 14.5 for the next 7 years. Is this an overpayment? Maybe. But Marco Kasper's really been that guy. Kontratiev, you're going to need a big time extension as well, but 9.9 million for the next 3 years honestly isn't too bad. So I think we can get this done and we can probably save a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit of money, I'm talking about 9.3 for the next 3 years. So it looks like you're going to be coming back. Maddox Schultz, you're going to need a big time deal as well, but you only want 2 seasons. So I think I'm going to hold off with you. Sokolov, you're going to need a contract extension as well. And what do you want? You only want 2 seasons. So I guess I'm holding off with you as well. So I guess we'll hold off with Schultz and Sokolov. When it comes to goaltending, Sebastian Kosa, I will bring you back to the team because you're normally signing good contracts. 2 years at 900K. That's an absolute steal. But yeah, I think with basically everyone else, they're all going to be walking. Like, we're going to have to pay our top guys a lot of money. I mean, $1 million for 1 season is not bad. Ty Karche, if you're willing to do something similar, I'll bring you back to the team. But I'm not doing 2.3 million. Furcus, I guess I can inquire with you. And 825K is a steal, so welcome back to the team. Liam Greentree, I guess I should inquire with you. You're looking for a 2-way contract, so you can come back as well. Trevor Connolly, you can probably come back because it's going to be a 2-way contract. So yeah, after saying I'm probably not going to be re-signing anyone else, I handed out about 5 extensions. Now, I don't know why it took me this long to realize it, but I just took a quick look at the roster to figure out who we need to bring in from free agency. Lekkerimäki didn't play at all last season. He was a healthy scratch the entire season, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize I had Lekkerimäki as a healthy scratch. No, that's wild. But when it comes to us bringing in 1 player for 1 season, Ryan Pollock kind of makes a little bit of sense. Zadorov makes a little bit of sense, but I don't really want to spend too much money here. Who's willing to sign a cheap contract for 1 season? On top of wanting to sign a cheap contract for 1 season, you also need to be somewhat young. I guess Bo Aki's contract isn't too bad. I understand he's looking for multiple years, but I can do 2.4 for the next 2 years. So Bo Aki's going to be joining the franchise. And then outside of that, we're good to go. Okay, hold on. We're actually going to make one more move. And yes, this is a terrible contract, but we can bring back Sale for 6.3 million for 1 season. Before he was looking for multiple seasons, but now that he's looking to do 1 year, we can bring him back. So the three-peat is just around the corner for the New York Rangers. Just look at this team. How are we not going to three-peat? Now, originally Shields, you're going to be playing on the 3rd line, but I completely forgot we had Lekkerimäki. So he's jumping back into the lineup as an 86 overall. The defense is looking amazing. And then, of course, we know goaltending is looking spectacular. Yeah, let's run it back. We're looking for 60 plus wins this season and our third straight Stanley Cup. Another year has come and gone, and the Rangers are once again not winning the President's Trophy, but who cares? We don't need to win the President's Trophy because we just win Stanley Cups. That's what we do season in and season out. Once again, the second line let us down. They really weren't that great this season, but who cares? Because these guys always find a way to step up in the postseason. Like Vigo Bjork, you had 49 points in 82 games. Normally, I'd be pretty disappointed at this, but let's take a look at what you did during the playoffs last season. 15 points in 23 games. The year before that, over a point a game. So even though this guy doesn't put up the greatest regular season numbers, in the postseason, he always finds a way to step up, and so does everyone else on our second line. Igor Shesterkin, you're another guy who always steps up. We're looking to complete the three-peat this season. We're taking on Tampa Bay in the first round. Let's just keep things rolling. So we're going for the three-peat this season. Things have looked great over the past two postseasons, and we're looking to replicate things. Can we simulate? Like seriously, let's simulate some games here. This is taking way too long. We're winning game 1 and we're winning game 2. So we're already off to a pretty solid start. Can we win game number 3 as well? Maybe we can even sweep Tampa Bay in the first round, but it's not going to be that simple. We're dropping game number 4, but that's perfectly fine because we'll just close out in game number 5 if it ever simulates. All right, we've lost back-to-back games now. Let's not lose 3 games in a row here. What are we doing, New York? You guys looked amazing through the first 3 games. Now we are in Game 7 after having a 3-0 series lead. You cannot blow a 3-0 series lead in your quest to three-peating. That can't happen. It's a tie game entering the third. Do not go out like this. You have to be kidding me. 4 unanswered goals? Nah, I'm sick. I also want to point out the 2 guys that scored, second line players for us. But we really blew a 3-0 series lead in our quest to three-peat. Nah, I'm tight. So our quest to three-peating has officially come to an end. We're blowing a 3-0 series lead in the first round. I'm sick. Absolutely sick to my stomach. What happened? What happened in the big time games? We just couldn't close it out. Goaltending wasn't that great. Maybe age is catching up to Igor Shesterkin. I don't know what happened, but it can't happen again next season. Also, before we head to the draft, I will check in with a couple players. One of those players being Maddox Schultz, but he's only looking for 1 season. Not really ideal. Sokolov, how much are you going to be looking for? I would like to bring you back for relatively cheap, but $13 million is very expensive. And if I give you this contract, then we can't bring Max Schultz back to the team unless we make a trade. So of course, I do want to bring you back to the team. If I spend $11.5 million on you, we're left with around $5.5 million. But if we trade Lekkermaki away, well, we make up the difference. What we also could do is just give him a no movement, and then we could probably save another $1 million. And I think that's what we're going to do. So what's going to happen is Sokolov is getting $10.6 million for the next 6 seasons. We're giving him a no movement in those final 3 years. What we'll do next is trade Lekkermaki away, and then after we do that, we have enough money for Maddox Schultz. Alright, so I'm trying to pull off a pretty aggressive trade that I highly doubt is going to be accepted, but Gavrikov, Lekkermaki, the 25th overall, and a future first round pick for the 2nd overall from the Boston Bruins. Why on earth did you accept that? That was so dumb. Why would you do that? Now, is there a franchise potential player projected number 1? It doesn't look like it. Now, I guess the real question is, do I actually want the 2nd overall pick? Now, the reason that I trade for the 2nd overall pick is because Gavrikov wasn't willing to go to any other team in basically the top 6. So Boston was really the only team we could have worked with there. So I guess the question is, what do we need on the team? Like, we don't really need another left defenseman because our left defense is really young. We could use a power forward, so maybe we trade back to the 4th overall. So if I ship out the 2nd overall pick, can I get the 4th rounder as well as a future first round pick? They're saying we're a little bit off in trade value. No, this is a steal. Here's the 217th overall. Is that going to be the difference? It doesn't look like it. I'll throw in a future 3rd rounder, and then we'll be walking away with San Jose's first round pick for next season. Considering they just received the 4th overall pick this season, I feel like their first round pick for next season is going to be pretty valuable. So we're moving back to the 4th overall pick so we can bring a power forward to the team. Did that man just go 2nd overall? He did just go 2nd overall. Nah, they fleeced us there. Hold on, they really just played us like that. I can't believe the player I wanted got selected 2nd overall by San Jose. Nah, they really played me there, but at the end of the day, I guess it's not the end of the world. Bolt, I can bring you to the team. I can pair you up with Shield, that sniper we brought to the team a couple years ago. Having you two alongside each other on the 3rd line is going to be pretty elite. And then maybe we can even bring back Jimmy Snuggerud. Who knows? Okay, so normally I don't point out medium star potential goaltenders in the 4th round, but when you're a 73 overall, I do have to point you out. Granted, he is 20 years old, but even still, a 73 overall is crazy. Now it looks like we're going to keep on winning here in the draft. Now we're selecting a low elite potential player. Now the drafting in this video has actually been really good. Not only have we been getting great prospects, but all of them have been developing. That doesn't happen too often. Speaking of low elite potential players, here's another one in the 6th round. It's really been hit after hit. So after clearing up that cap space at the draft, we have $17 million to work with. So bringing back Schultz shouldn't be too difficult, but this man just does not want to work with me. So I guess we'll sign him for 8.5 for the next 2 years. I mean, that's not too bad, but I definitely would have preferred an 8-year contract. So Maddox Schultz, welcome back to the team. Sale, you're definitely going to be leaving. Your qualifying offer is $6.3 million. And I also don't need a playmaker on the second line anymore. Jimmy Snuggerud, I can bring you back for 1 more season. We've just been signing you to these 1-year deals, but it's been working out. Here's 3.8 for 1 season. Ty Cartier, I feel like you're going to be looking for too much money, but $2 million for the next 2 isn't bad. So here's 1.9 million to play on the bottom 6. Laba, if I can do the exact same thing with you, I'll bring you back, but 3.3 million is a little bit too expensive. Vinny Trocheck, I guess you can be a 4th line centerman for me, but I'm not doing 2 seasons. At the very most, I can do 3.2 for 1 season, but I can't do anything outside of that. And it looks like Vinny Trocheck is going to be rejecting, so I don't think he's coming back to the team. So I don't think we're really going to have to do too much over this offseason. However, Braden Schneider is looking for an extension, and I just don't know if I can commit $10.2 million to him. Like, yeah, he's a great defensive defenseman, but this just seems like way too much. Unless we can get this down to like 8.8 million, I could do 8.8 million for the next 6 seasons. So I guess he will come back. Originally, I was a little bit concerned about how much he was asking for, but honestly, that deal's not too bad. Now, outside of signing Braden Schneider, we do need to bring in somebody for 1 season. And here we go, we found our man. 1.8 million for 1 season as an 82 overall. I don't have to put too much thought into that signing. He's our guy. So after a disappointing exit in the postseason last year, the New York Rangers are looking to bounce back. Bolt's going to be jumping into the lineup, and he's going to be playing with Shields and Snuggerud. We really need the second line to take the next step this season, and I don't see why they can't take that next step. Like, Slafkovsky's a good power forward. Sokolov's a great sniper. Vigo Bjork is an amazing playmaker. You would think they would be able to work alongside each other, but it just hasn't worked so far. When it comes to defense, that's great. When it comes to goaltending, that's great. I'm assuming last season was a fluke and we're going to bounce back big time. Now we're looking for a big bounce back from the New York Rangers, 5th in the entire league with a 51, 27, and 4 record. Our offense is still looking amazing, but I think we have to start working on our defense because I don't think our defense is quite good enough. But then again, who am I to question? We've won 2 Stanley Cups over the past 3 years. I shouldn't be overthinking things too much. We are still an amazing team. We have a lot of fantastic players here. Let's just keep on doing what we're doing. Igor Shesterkin, you had decent enough goaltending numbers. We're looking for 3 Stanley Cups over the last 4 years. Let's lock in. We're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1st round, so I don't have to worry about a 1st round exit this time. Like, respectfully, we're not losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1st round. That's not going to happen. Losing last season was one thing, but losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs, that's another. Like, we lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning last season. I can sort of get that one. Granted, we did have a 3-0 series lead, but this is the Toronto Maple Leafs we're talking about. We're not going to fall in the 1st round to them. We will find a way to get past the Maple Leafs. We have a 3-1 series lead. I shouldn't have to worry too much. Granted, we did blow a 3-0 series lead last season, so it is possible to still lose, but it's Toronto. We're not losing. So we're moving on to the 2nd round, and now we have the Carolina Hurricanes. Of course, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to put more pressure on us, but we have experience. We know what it takes to win Stanley Cups, so how about we do that again here? We've won 2 of the first 3, make that 3 of the first 4, 1 game away from moving on to the conference finals, and now we're there. So we've advanced to the conference finals, but we have our toughest task yet, and that is going to be the Florida Panthers. But with the way this team is performing, I think we can compete with anyone, but Florida seems to have our number right now. It looks like they're going to be eliminating us in 5 games. It was a tough battle, but I guess we weren't quite good enough. Now, a conference finals exit was definitely disappointing, but you know what's more disappointing? Only receiving the 10th overall pick from San Jose. That pick should have been so much better, but I guess we can live with the 10th overall. Now, we're not guaranteed an elite potential player with the 10th overall pick. However, if we move up to the 8th overall, then we are guaranteed one, so we'll give up a future 2nd round pick in order to move up 2 spots, but with the 8th overall pick, we're guaranteed to get ourselves a medium elite potential player. We're going with Cali Omark, medium elite potential. He's ready to jump into the lineup already, trading a future second round pick was definitely worth it. Because when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks, who exactly are they going to be walking away with? A medium top 4 potential defenseman who's beginning as an 80 overall. I mean, I guess that's not too bad of a selection, but he certainly doesn't have medium elite potential. Now, outside of the medium elite potential forward we got in the first round, we are walking away with some other medium elite potential prospects. We're going to be securing a goaltender here in the 5th round, but in the 6th round, we're walking away with another goaltender because there are multiple medium elite potential goaltenders available. This one's projected 223rd overall, but I'm going to take him about 40 picks early because, yeah, I don't believe we have a 7th round pick, and this deal was definitely worth it. A 60 overall selected 189th overall. Yeah, I'll take that deal any day of the week. Also, apparently we did have a 7th round pick. Why did I think we didn't have a 7th rounder? I guess I must have thought we traded it away, but at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world. We'll try to select this player right here. Does he have low elite potential? No, he doesn't. But yeah, the difference between a 6th round pick and a 7th round pick, not that much. Now, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of cap space for next season because there's a handful of players that we have to re-sign. So Jimmy Snuggerud, it's finally time to say goodbye. We're not signing you to a 1-year deal anymore. And then truthfully, with everyone else, we're probably going to be letting all these guys walk unless they're willing to sign for like $1 million. And Brett Berard, I guess you're willing to sign for $1 million. So here's 1.1 for 1 season. You can come back to the team. Bo Aki, you're probably looking for a bag, and it looks like you are. Yeah, that's a tough look for us. We have a handful of players on expiring contracts here, and we're definitely going to have to make some difficult decisions because there is no way we're going to be able to afford all these guys. So we'll start with our 94 overall defenseman, Zane Parekh, and we're moving on from him. I'm not doing $20 million for 1 season. That's just not happening. Dylan Gunther, you want $15.4 million. We could probably get this down to like $13 million, and I think that is somewhat reasonable for you. And you know what? It's actually going to be less than that. $12.6 million for the next 7 years. That's a contract I can work with. When it comes to Cole Hudson, $10.6 million for the next 6 years is an absolute steal, but we're going to try to save some extra money. So how about I do 9.7 for the next 6? He's going to be returning to the team. Maddox Schultz, how much do you want? $11.5 million. We're doing 8 years with no movement. Except maybe I don't do 8 years with no movement. How about 7 years with no movement and we do 11.5 for the next 7? I think that's pretty fair for you. Slafkovsky, I think it might be time we change things up. So I think we might be trading you away. And then Shields, you might be getting an opportunity in the top 6, but now you're looking for $9.9 million. Maybe we just ride out your contract on the bottom 6 and then I trade you away next season. That could be the move. Like, I'm just not 100% sold on Slafkovsky here. I don't really know what to think. Also, Igor Shesterkin's coming off the books next season. He's going to be 37 years old heading into next season. I just don't really want to give him a long-term deal, especially at 37. So the team's definitely going to be looking different next season. Once we know exactly who's coming back and how much cap space we have, we'll make moves accordingly. But until then, there is one move we have to make, and that's trading Zane Parekh away. And boy, are we going to get a lot for Zane Parekh. He has the most trade value on the team. He has maxed out trade value. Yeah, let's go get like 8 elite potential players for him. All right, so here's what I'm thinking with Zane Parekh. Losing him is definitely going to hurt the team. However, we're bringing in Malkin, an 88 overall offensive defenseman. He's locked down for the next 3 years at 5.9. That's a contract we can work with. Watton's also going to be brought in. He's an 86 overall power forward. He's only 20 years old right now. Maybe he can be the Slafkovsky replacement. Who knows? We're also trying to get 3 first-round picks back. They're saying no, but what if I give you our first-round pick? Then they're saying we're very close in value, so I'll throw in a 7th-round pick and we'll get this deal done. So we're getting 3 valuable first-rounders, 2 great young players. The loss of Zane Parekh is definitely going to be hurting us, but I think we'll be all right. Now, when it comes to Watton's extension, how much is he looking for? Because I would like to bring him back to the team. And $5.6 million, I think, is an absolute steal. What if we did 5 years, then he wants 6.4? Hold on now. Let's lock him down for 8 seasons with a no movement. Slafkovsky will trade you away. Yeah, this is definitely the answer. We probably should have changed up our second line a while ago, but for $8.5 million for the next 8 years, one, I think this is an absolute steal. So welcome to the team. So we'll go move on from Slafkovsky, or we can just ride out his contract. That is an option as well. And you know what? I think we'll do that because we really want to win another Stanley Cup here. And if I trade him away for a player who's worse but is on a cheaper contract, I don't think that really helps us. So yeah, we're just going to write out Slafkovsky's contract. Normally I wouldn't do this, but in this situation, I think it's the right move. Now, after that big time trade, there actually is one thing for us to do. We have to bring in a left defenseman and a right defenseman. Now, Duda is going to be the left defenseman because he's signing a cheap contract. When it comes to our next deal, Christian Kyrou, welcome to the team. You're signing a cheap contract as well. Our third pairing is now complete. So with all those trades and signings done, let's get ready for next season. Let's win a President's Trophy and another Stanley Cup. Now, it's been far too long long since the Rangers have won a Stanley Cup. Slafkovsky, you probably won't be here next season. Shields, you probably won't be here either. So this is our time. This is our best chance to bring home another Stanley Cup. We're not going to have a team that looks this good for a long time. This is the best the Rangers are probably going to look over the next decade. So if we want to seize the opportunity, we need to win right now. Like, let's face it, Slafkovsky and Shields will not be replaced for next season. We're just going to be moving players up in the lineup. Maybe in 5 or 6 seasons, we'll find a way to replace those guys. But for the near future, we're definitely not going to be able to. So we have to seize this opportunity right now. New York, it's time for you to get another Stanley Cup. Overall wise, this might be the best team you see in today's video. Now, it's kind of wild to think about, but the Rangers are yet to win the President's Trophy. I feel like I have constructed a very good team, but for some reason, there's always a couple teams better than us. Marco Kasper is going to lead the team in scoring this season with 101 points. Dylan Guenther 91, Maddox Schultz 67, Slafkovsky 63. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't know what it's going to take in order for us to win the President's Trophy. It might just not happen in today's video. But if we can bring home multiple Stanley Cups, then who cares about the President's Trophy? Igor Shesterkin, 20 wins, 5 shouts, a 907 and a 272. It's time to get back into the win column. It's time to start winning Stanley Cups again. We have the Washington Capitals in the first round. Let's just take it one game at a time. So as I mentioned, it's one game at a time. We're not going to be looking ahead in the series. We just have to focus on game number 1. Now we can focus on game 2. And then after game 2 happens, we can focus on game 3, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. So far, the offense is looking pretty good. Our defense has been amazing so far. I mean, up until game number 3, like we did allow 5 goals, and then we dropped game number 4 right after that. We're not going to blow multiple 3-0 series leads in today's video, so it's only a matter of time before we take down Washington, because as I just said, we're not blowing multiple 3-0 series leads in today's video. We are taking down Washington and moving on. So we're advancing to the second round, and now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm pretty confident that we can hold our own with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but I guess only time will tell. We're winning game number 1. Can we win game 2 as well? It doesn't look like it. So far, defense has been very good. Never mind, I have to take that back. I was going to say defense has been very good because we've recorded a handful of shutouts, but right after that, we allowed a bunch of goals, and that's not really ideal. So it's a best of 3 moving forward. We're winning back-to-back games. Can we now make it 3 in a row so we can move on to the conference finals? Yes, we can. So the Rangers are moving on to the conference finals. Things are looking really good, and now we have the Florida Panthers. As we all know, we made a trade with Florida earlier. They have Zane Parekh on the team, but I think we can take down Zane Parekh. But maybe I'm just completely capping. We're down 3-0, or at least we were down 3-0. We've won game number 4. We've won game number 5. Can we make it 3 straight victories? It doesn't look like it. No, that's actually heartbreaking to see. So Zane Parekh is likely going to be winning the Stanley Cup here unless the Minnesota Wild take down the Florida Panthers, and that is possible. And it looks like our Stanley Cup champions are going to be the Florida Panthers, so Zane Parek's going to go on to win one. Nah, you just hate to see that. So those first round picks that we acquired from the Florida Panthers are going to have 0 value whatsoever. We're falling in the conference finals, and we're going to be losing a handful of pieces. Shields isn't returning to the team. Slafkovsky's not returning to the team. Low key, I think we got to make some aggressive moves here. And what do I mean by that? This second line just isn't doing it for me. Vigo Bjork, it's just not working out here. You just haven't been that guy. Although you always step up in the postseason, you just haven't been good enough on the second line for me. Granted, you are an elite playmaker, but it's just not quite good enough. So maybe I should move on from you. I'm not 100% sold. I mean, you're a really good player. I don't know. There's going to be some tough decisions ahead. When it comes to goaltending, that's basically set in stone. Igor Shesterkin, you will not be returning. You're 37 years old. I'm just not sure if I can commit to you long term. However, if you are looking for a 1-year deal, maybe we can get something done. Okay, I'm trying to pull off a huge deal here. Now, this deal would be an absolute game changer, but we need the first overall pick. And I think there is literally only one way we can get this done. We have to give up Florida's first round picks that have lots of value. The 30th overall, the 32nd in Shields. Is that enough for the first overall? Yes, it is. Now, I tried to do a smaller package earlier, but they said no to it. But now we got the first overall pick. And with the first overall, a medium franchise potential sniper, we're changing things up here. Houston's going to be playing somewhere in the top 6. I haven't quite decided yet. But with us bringing him to the team, I think that means we can move on from somebody else. Now, who exactly am I thinking about? Well, I think what we're going to end up doing here is Sokolov. I'm going to trade you. Because what I'm going to do is move Vigo Bjork over to center, put him back in his primary position. We we don't really need you playing center minutes for us anymore, especially at 10.6 million. So I'm going to trade you away. We're going to have a new top 6 moving forward, and hopefully with these new assets, we're going to be able to win some more Stanley Cups. You know what? I've actually changed my mind a little bit. This is what we're going to do. Anaheim, I'm going to try to trade for your first round pick for next season. I'm going to give you Vigo Bjork. Now you might be thinking I'm crazy. Who are we going to have playing center then? Well, we're just going to move Bolt up to the second line. He's up to an 86 overall. He's still in his entry level contract, so he's going to be a pretty cheap player. And ideally, he can be our guy moving forward. Like Vigo Bjork, nothing against you. However, you just haven't been good enough during the regular season. Yeah, you've stepped up for me in the postseason, but it just hasn't been quite good enough. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. Sokolov, I'm going to send you over to the San Jose Sharks. Carpenter's going to be the main piece being brought in. His $5 million cap hit's going to be manageable enough for the next couple years, but then we eventually will have to move on from him. Fraser Minton, I'm just bringing in your contract so we can make this trade happen. I don't plan on bringing you back to the team, but you're the most expensive player on an expiring contract. So yeah, we'll get this one done. I'll throw in a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder, and I think that should be enough, but apparently not. We have to throw in a 5th round pick as well. I'm not even sure if this is going to be enough, but I think we're pretty close in this deal. Yeah, what else do you want? Like, here's another 4th round pick. I feel like this should be more than enough. They're saying we're a little bit off in value. Okay, what else do we have that's valuable? I guess we do have a medium-league potential goaltender I can throw into this deal, and maybe he's going to be the difference. They're still saying we're off in value. I'll give you a couple draft picks, and then you'll say yes for sure. So here's the 125th overall, a future 3rd rounder. It's time for San Jose to say yes to this deal, and they're finally saying so. Now, we might not have many draft picks to work with, but that doesn't mean we can't walk away with any low-league potential prospects, so we'll secure one here in the 5th round. And then to finish it all off, how about in the 7th round, we draft a medium-league potential goaltender. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of really good late draft steals. Like with the 221st, a medium-league potential goaltender, that never happens. So after making all the trades we've made, $25 million in cap space. So just hold on for a minute. Slavkovsky, do I bring you back here? I don't know where you would play in the lineup, but I feel like it makes sense to move on from you. You're not a part of this team's future. We're heading in a different direction. Ty Cartier, we're going to let you walk as well. Honestly, I think everyone's going to be walking here. We'll find replacements in free agency. I mean, Green Tree, maybe I can bring you back to the team, and for 1.2 million, yeah, I can do that deal. But yeah, we're going to make some adjustments here. We're going to sign some rookies, but we certainly have a lot of cap space to work with, but that just means we have a lot of extensions to hand out. But before we hand out extensions, how about we hand out one huge deal? Igor Shesterkin, you're coming back for one more season. $9 million on a 1-year contract. You're still an elite goaltender as an 88 overall. I just didn't want to sign you long term, so 1 year actually works out perfect. We'll also sign this goaltender who's up to a 79 overall. He can play some good AHL minutes. Now with all the cap space that we do have here, let's hand out some extensions. Kondratiev, of course, I'm bringing you back to the team, and what an absolute steal. 11.5 for the next 8 years as a 90 overall. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Bolt, how much are you going to be looking for? You're jumping into the top 6 this season. I think you're going to be a big time player. What if we did 5 years and I give you a no movement in that final season? I think that's a good idea, but maybe instead of a no movement, I just do a modified no trade, just in case when your contract expires, you're like, hey, I want $45 billion. And of course, I'm not going to be able to give you that. So 9.9 for the next 5. And then if I have to trade you in that final season, I'm going to be able to do so. Swift, I'm just looking to give you a cheap contract to play on the bottom 6, and 1.5 is definitely a steal. And then to finish it all off, of course, Omark, I probably should give you your entry-level contract because you're playing bottom 6 minutes for me this season. But I almost forgot about somebody. You remember Landry, that high elite potential goaltender? Well, yeah, it's time to lock him down long term. And if we did 8 years, he wants 11.8 million. So we'll actually just do 2 years at 1.3 million. That works. Now there's going to be a couple free agent signings that we have to make. Of course, we need to bring in one left winger, and then we have to bring in one right winger. So I'm looking for some cheap players on some cheap contracts. And this is an absolute steal. A 79 overall for 850k. Welcome to the team. I'm not really considering that deal. Like, that's a no-brainer. That is 1000% happening. And then when it comes to a right defenseman, okay, yeah, I'll bring in this low-league potential player. However, they might be an RFA, but for some reason they aren't. Okay, we're going to do 3 years with them at 1.4 million. Actually, make that 1.6 million for the next 3 years. Yeah, I definitely want to bring Bro to the team. And then when it comes to our remaining $15 million, who do we want to bring in here? Like, who makes a lot of sense for us? Well, I'm not 100% sure right now. We do need some bottom 6 players. Now, when it comes to some forward signings, who do we want to bring to the team? We just have to bring in some guys on 1-year deals. And you know what, Berkeley Catton? I can do 4.8 million for 1 season. So hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that deal. When it comes to somebody else we can bring in to play alongside you, who do I want to bring in? Well, Brett Berard, you're looking for only 1.8 million. So why not? I know I let you walk into free agency, but I guess I can bring you back now. And then to finish it all off, Jake DeBrusk, I guess I can do a 1-year deal. Here's 5.7 million. I think we're ready now. So over the offseason, we made some aggressive moves, but we're looking to change this team up. Clearly over the past couple years, we're no longer good enough to win a Stanley Cup, but I think with the moves we've made, we're going to be good enough to win now. We have 390 overalls when it comes to our defense. When it comes to our goaltending, Igor Shesterkin is going to be a very expensive backup because Landry is technically the highest overall, so we're going to have him as the number one, and Igor Shesterkin, you're going to be the backup this season. No, that's wild work, but hey, that's just the way it is. We have a new starter. Landry, it's time for you to take over. We're entering a new era, and it's time for you to be that guy. Now, I just want to remind all of you, this is season number 9 right here. This might be the first time in history we make it to the 10-year mark in a rebuild like this, and we haven't won one President's Trophy. Unless we have won one in the past, and I completely forgot, but we're third in the entire league, a 50-23-9 record. Montreal won 10 more games than us, even though they only scored 8 more goals and only allowed 2 fewer. Somehow that resulted in 10 more wins for them. That is certainly interesting, but I'm not going to question it. Marco Kasper, 96 points. Maddox Schultz, 73 points. Dylan Gunther, 70 points. When it comes to our second line, a bit of a disappointment, but I'm not going to worry too much because at the end of the day, we have a very young second line. Houston was in his rookie season. He's up to an 87. He'll probably be a 90 by the beginning of next season, and then he's going to be ready to take over the NHL. When it comes to goaltending, Landry was really good. Igor Shesterkin was a very expensive backup, but he held it down. The real question is, when the postseason comes around, can we step up? I guess we're about to find that out because we're taking on the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. So New York, it's time to get back to winning Stanley Cups. I don't know how long it's been since we won a Stanley Cup, but I can tell you for a fact that it's been far too long. Can this game simulate? I don't know what it is. In today's video, it is taking 10 times longer. We just allowed 7 goals in game 2. We are cooked. There is no way we're winning this series. We're going to fall to the Buffalo Sabres. I am absolutely sick. We made a bunch of trades to try to make our team better, and now we're a first round exit against the Buffalo Sabres. That's not right. We're moving on to the draft lottery. We're going to be receiving the 10th overall pick from the Anaheim Ducks. But yeah, we are not wasting any time looking at postseason numbers because they were terrible. Like, obviously our numbers are not going to look good. With the 10th overall pick, I'm kind of hoping to move into the top 5. Maybe we can get another really good medium league potential player. I'm not really sure what the plan is here, but we'll make some moves. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. The 10th overall and the 26th overall in order to move up to the 4th overall pick. Now Nashville, I understand you guys say no to this, but what if I give you a future second round pick as well? They're still saying no to this. What if I give you a medium league potential goaltender? Because I know we have medium league potential goalies in the system. I'll give you this 21-year-old who's a 75 overall. I can't really imagine him developing into anything, and it looks like Nashville's going to be saying yes. So ideally, there's going to be a medium league potential sniper available. Yes, they are a centerman, but that's perfectly fine because I'm going to convince bro to become either a left or right winger, and he's going to be jumping into the lineup immediately for us. So after trading away a medium league potential goaltender, there's only one thing to do: bring one back to the team. So there we go, a 17-year-old who has medium league potential and is a 47 overall. The sky's the limit for this kid. So moving into the offseason, we have $13 million to work with. And what do I want to do with those $13 million? Brett Berard, I can keep on bringing you back on these 1-year deals. I don't know how you've stuck with the team for as long as you have, but you keep asking for reasonable contracts, so I'm going to keep on bringing you back. Berkeley Catton, I guess you're going to be leaving, and then we'll sign all these rookies. Also, another guy who is going to be leaving the team, but it shouldn't be too much of a surprise, Igor Shesterkin. He's not part of this team's future. He's slowly aging out on us. Granted, Landry really wasn't the guy last season, but we have to embrace him because he is the future. So Malkin, you're the main player I'm looking at when it comes to an extension, and $16.9 million is definitely an ask. However, if I give you a no movement, I think we can probably get this to happen, and I think more than likely it's still going to cost us a pretty penny. 14.6 for the next 6. I'm willing to do that. I'm just not sure if I like it. Meanwhile, Carpenter, more than likely I'm just going to write your contract for this season. Now, before we head to next season, we do need to bring in a centerman for 1 season. Elias Pettersson, technically you're an option because you're willing to sign for 1 season. I would be playing you on the bottom 6, so I probably don't want to do that, but you know what, maybe we actually do it. Elias Pettersson, welcome to the team if you're willing to sign, and I think you are willing to sign. So there we go, Elias Pettersson, welcome to the bottom 6. So over the offseason, we let a couple of the young guys develop. Watton's up to an 87, Bolt's an 87, Houston's an 88. Now over the offseason, we let some of the young guys develop. Watton's up to an 87, Bolt's an 87, Houston's an 88. So I think we can trust these guys moving forward. When it comes to the bottom six, Hunter's jumping into the lineup. Omar is still playing some third line minutes, but now he's beside Carpenter and Elias Pettersson. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do. When it comes to our defense, absolutely loaded. We have 490 overalls, and then in between the pipes we have Landry, 88 overall. Last season was definitely disappointing for him, but I think he's ready to build on that. He's looking to prove he's an elite goaltender in the postseason and not somebody who folds constantly. When it comes to what happened in the postseason last year, I think we can put the blame on how much turnover we had. We did change a lot of the team, so not a ton of guys really had chemistry, but now that they've played together for one season, I'm expecting a much better result. So we've entered year number 10 and we have 2 Stanley Cups so far. So I mean, 2 Stanley Cups over the course of 10 years, it could be a lot worse. However, we should have 3 Stanley Cups. So that's why we're going to win a Stanley Cup this season. We're going to finish off our first 10 years with 3 Stanley Cups, 1 Stanley Cup every 3 years. Honestly, I think every NHL fan could live with a Stanley Cup every 3 years. So it's a lock in right here. We have a 3-0 series lead against the Philadelphia Flyers, but obviously we're not going to sweep them because why would we ever sweep anybody? So we're moving on to game number 5. This is a must win for the boys. I don't know why I'm simulating the postseason like this. Hold on now. I got a lock in here. What am I doing going game by game? When we bring out this method, we simulate the entire postseason. Face cam off, I commentate what happens. What am I doing? Not only was I going game by game, but I didn't look at the stats or anything. Hold on, I gotta lock in here. I gotta tee up. I'm complaining that the Rangers don't know what they're doing, but I don't even know what I'm doing myself. We're taking on the New Jersey Devils in the second round. We've lost back-to-back games. This is what I get for thinking. This is what I get for doing things my way. We're losing 4 straight games in the second round and we're eliminated. So 2 Stanley Cups in the first 10 years, unacceptable. We gotta start getting back into the winning column. I think we have a ton of great players here, but we just can't seem to get over the hump. The Montreal Canadiens, Stanley Cup champions, but New York, you got to figure it out, and you got to figure it out quick. Because you certainly can't say that the Rangers weren't good this season. We won 54 games. Somehow we didn't win the President's Trophy, though, even though we had the most wins. Dallas is going to finish with 2 more points than us. They won the President's Trophy because of overtime losses. That's not right. But we scored 4.07 goals per game, which is the best in the NHL. When it comes to our defense, we allowed 2.77, and that's a top 10 defense. We actually ended up being tied for the 7th best defense in the league. There's not really too much more you can do. When you have an elite offense and an elite defense, you have to win some games. When it comes to our scoring, everyone was elite, and I'm happy to say all of our lines were good. Look at those plus minus numbers. Our second line for the longest time was holding us back, but not anymore. And then when it comes to goaltending, Landry, 34 wins, 3 shouts, a 906 and a 282. Those numbers are good, but look at Kosa, a 24-3 record. No, that man was holding up his end of the bargain. When the postseason came around, of course we know Montreal was winning, but what happened to the Rangers? Did our offense just dry up? It looks like it. Even though our offense looked great during the regular season, in the postseason, our second line completely vanished. Watton only 4 points, Houston only 4 points, and then when it comes to our centerman, Bolt, well, he had 2 points and was -8. So if our second line could just show up for me, well, we wouldn't have to worry about this. And it's actually kind of funny when you think about it. Our second line in the past, when it was Sokolov, Vigo, Bjork, and Slakowski, they folded during the regular season, but they constantly stepped up for me in the playoffs. Our new second line steps up during the regular season, but folds during the playoffs. Hopefully that trend doesn't continue, because I don't want to have to deal with 3 guys folding all the time. Now, I don't know what it's going to take for this team to start winning Stanley Cups again. Maybe we have to do a better job drafting, but I think a lowly potential player in the first round is an amazing draft pick. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think this is a good prospect. I guess the real question is this player going to develop for us? Who knows? Speaking of players who I'm not sure are going to develop for us, this medium league potential centerman that we're selecting in the 3rd round, he's got himself medium league potential. More than likely, we're going to be shipping bro out. We have ourselves $10 million in cap space, and there's actually a handful of players that we have to sign. We got to bring a couple bottom 6 guys back to the team. Carpenter, I think more than likely I'm going to qualify you as an RFA and trade you away. Your trade value isn't the highest in the world, but I think I can still work with that. Elias Pettersson, more than likely you're going to be walking. How much do you want? $7.8 million. I just can't do that. Brett Berard, you've been signing amazing contracts for a long time, and it looks like you're going to keep doing that. Here's 2.3 for 1 season, so you're coming back to the team. Liam Liam Greentree, can I do the same thing with you? You want 2 years at 3 million? How about we save some money, 2.8 for the next 2 years? You can come back to the team. And then honestly, with everyone else, we're probably looking at two-way contracts because that's really all we can afford. Now, on top of trading Carpenter away, we're probably gonna have to ship out some other players because Houston needs a contract extension and he's looking for 12.7 million. But what if I give you a no movement in that final season? Okay, we actually don't have to free up that much cap space. Liam Greentree, remember how I just signed you for 2 seasons? I'm likely trading you away. And Landry, you also need a contract extension. Okay, we'll bring Landry back to the team, and then Houston, we'll figure something out with you. Because Brock Landry, I am 1000% bringing you back to the team, especially at this price tag. What an absolute steal. I'll do 7.7 million for the next 6 seasons. You can't find a better deal than that. But yeah, when it comes to Houston, we'll figure that out later. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. You know how we just drafted this medium league potential player? We're not even going to see whether or not bro develops. I'm going to trade him in a first round pick for Mink. Eventually, when we get this deal done, he's going to be playing third line minutes. And then Carpenter, I'll trade you somewhere else. Haven't really quite decided yet, but you will eventually get flipped. So we have to throw in a 7th round pick, and that'll be enough to get this deal done. Mink, welcome to the team. You're going to play some good third line minutes. And then Carpenter, we'll figure out where I can ship you. So here's what I'm thinking with Carpenter. I'm going to send him over to the Edmonton Oilers. You're going to give us a 2nd and 3rd round pick. Perfect. Now, we really didn't make too many changes to this Rangers team, but I don't want to make too many changes. Look at what we have here. I believe in this team. I think this team right here could be one of those teams that goes on to win a handful of Stanley Cups. However, we haven't won any of those Stanley Cups quite yet. We have an amazing offense, we have an amazing defense, and we have an amazing goaltender. I feel like at some point, we're going to take that next step and take over. I just have no clue when that's going to be. Now, there's nothing better than looking really good for a majority of the season, only to drop 7 of your final 8 games. We should have been 2nd in the entire league, but we just said, nah. We're not going to win games at the end of the year. We are going to purposely lose every game moving forward. If this team doesn't go on a deep run this season or win a Stanley Cup, big changes are coming. Houston, you might be traded. Bolt will likely be traded as well. I am willing to rebuild this entire team. I guess it's not technically a rebuild at this point, it's a retool, but same difference. I'm willing to make a handful of aggressive moves if this team folds again. I mean, at the end of the day, if we do trade Houston away, we are losing that trade. No matter what we bring in, we are 1000% losing that trade. But if we don't have to trade him away, that likely means we want a Stanley Cup, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Of course, we're not going to sweep the Islanders, because why would we sweep the Islanders? We'll take them down to 5-game series though. So we've won the first 4 games. Now we need to win 12 more, but that's not going to be easy. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets in the 2nd round. Columbus was one of the best teams in the entire league, but I believe we can hold our own with Columbus. We just need to lock in and win games when it matters. Houston, you're traded. Bolt, you're traded. We are rebuilding the top 6, or at least we're rebuilding the 2nd, 3rd line, and 4th line. Because yeah, our first line is basically set in stone, but when it comes to the rest of the team, they're just not good enough. So the Columbus Blue Jackets eventually will fall to the Buffalo Sabres, who fall to the Minnesota Wild in the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, this team just isn't it. It's not quite good enough. I'm going to find out who the best sniper in the NHL is, and I'm going to trade Houston for that player. That's what we're going to do. Who scored the most goals last season? As long as we can trade for said player, I am likely going to make that move. Now, who scored the most goals? Macklin Celebrini. There is no way we get a Macklin Celebrini trade done. Then it was Austin Matthews, Connor Bedard, Marco Casper. Okay, we are actually cooked. Out of all these players, who can we actually trade for? Who doesn't have a no movement that we can make a play for? Apparently nobody. We cannot trade for any of these players. Kirill Kaprizov's 39, so I'm not going to trade for him. Matias Maccelli, fat chance I trade for you. Why did you have 103 points? Nah, there is something wrong in this NHL. Alright, so we are going to get very, very, very risky here. And when I say we're getting very risky, I mean we are going to do something that just doesn't make sense. Like what I'm about to do is objectively very, very stupid. So I'm going to trade Bolt over to the Nashville Predators. I'm going to bring in this right wing that they just drafted. He's a good young playmaker. He's going to replace Maddox Schultz on the top line. Maddox Schultz is going to play 2nd line minutes. Houston, we will now be able to bring you back to the team because we're going to have more money freed up. This is just objectively a bad trade. You should not make trades like this. but when you're desperate, you'll do desperate things. Now the trades are still not done. Omark, I'm now shipping you out because your entry level contract's ending and I don't have enough money to bring you back to the team. So we're picking up the player that Chicago just drafted 3rd overall. I'm not 100% sold whether or not this guy's going to be playing for us this season because we do have a handful of other guys that could play 3rd line minutes. So we might end up holding on to this rookie and then he'll jump to the lineup in like 2 seasons. Now our first draft is going to come with the 40th overall pick, but with that pick, we're actually walking away with a pretty solid player, a 63 overall with low elite potential. He was also a gem, so I'm really hoping he develops into something because we need some cheap players on the team. Now to finish off our drafting, we are going to walk away with another low elite potential player. This one's going to be coming in the 6th round. Cristiano McDonald. I already know for a fact you're going to turn into a superstar just based on that name. Now after making all those moves at the draft, watch us not be able to re-sign Houston because we don't have enough money for him, or he wants a 1-year deal for some reason. I'm not going to do 1 year with him. How about we do 2 years? If we do 2 years, we can do 12.5 million. That actually kind of helps the cap situation a little bit on this team. So shout out to bro. He's actually helping us out quite a bit here. Now when it comes to basically everyone else on the team, I need the cheapest contracts imaginable. Bobby Swift, here's 1.9 for the next 2 years. I know you have 0 contract interest there, and that's because we weren't even offering you close to enough. You want 3.3 million, not 2.1 million. So yeah, Bobby Swift is not coming back to the team, and neither is anyone else because we can't afford any of these players. Now when it comes to the offseason, we're just looking to sign the cheapest players available. If you're looking to sign for like 800k, you can join the team. That's how we're going to be bringing in everyone here. That's how we're going to be signing our 4th line. We can't afford to spend any money on any players here. Like even 1.3 million is too much for us right now. We're in a super tough spot right now. Like we just can't afford anyone. We have committed so much money to all of our top players that our bottom 6 is basically non-existent. But at the end of the day, that's just the way things have to be here. We're trying our best to win a Stanley Cup and it's just not working out for us. But eventually it will. At some point, we're going to take the next step. At some point, we're going to be a competent franchise and we're going to start bringing home multiple Stanley Cups. Not just one Stanley Cup, multiple Stanley Cups. Protus, welcome to the team. Ilya Protus to be exact. And then when it comes to a right winger, once again, I'm just looking for somebody on a very cheap contract. We can bring in this medium top 6 potential player for 1.7 million. There we go. The bottom 6 is set. Our top 9 is basically the exact same. We're looking for an absolute miracle here. So over the offseason, I was planning on making a handful of trades. And then I realized like 90% of the players here have no movements. Dylan Gunther has one. Marco Kasper has one. We just brought in this young rookie and he's going to play top 6 minutes. Watton doesn't have one quite yet. However, he is on one of the best contracts in the league. He's on an amazing contract right now. We could trade Houston away, but we have to get better. And I don't think trading Houston away actually makes us better, so we're holding on to him. And then when it comes to our defense, we have 390 overalls and an 89 in the top 4. I don't think we should have to worry when it comes to that. Meanwhile, when it comes to goaltending, Brock Landry, he's a 90 overall, medium league potential. He finally has an X factor, and maybe, just maybe, that can be the difference moving forward. At this point, though, I am grasping at straws on what's going to make us better. Maybe our goaltender having an X factor is going to be the difference, but I have no clue at this point. Now, at this point, I don't know what it's going to take. What is it going to take for the New York Rangers to win again? I have no clue, but we're simulating the entire postseason. I'll narrate over what happens, but we need to see this team win. Or we can lose game number 1. I guess that's an option as well. Instead of winning a Stanley Cup, let's just lose game number 1. Unless you plan on winning 16 straight games after losing game number 1, you can't lose game number 1. You also can't be down 3-2 in the series. That's not an option either. Luckily, you guys are winning back-to-back games. We're moving on to the second round. But yeah, the Rangers are making this difficult. They want to make things a lot more difficult than they have to be, and I have no clue why they're doing that. Once again, we're down 3-2 in the series. We have to win back-to-back games, and I guess we're doing that. So apparently we are always going to make 3-2 series comebacks. No matter what happens, we will make a 3-2 series comeback. We've won 6 games in a row. We are in the Stanley Cup final. Beat Minnesota. Just lock in right here, beat the Minnesota Wild, and drop the final game in overtime. You're kidding me. You were down 3-2 once again. You guys have already made 2 3-2 series comebacks, but you decide to allow an overtime winner in Game 7. Game 7, when the lights are the brightest, you folded. No, I need to know what happened in that game. What happened in that overtime game? Who scored the winning goal? Who scored that final goal? No, ain't no way we allowed a goal 2 minutes and 28 seconds into overtime. We were scoreless through the first 2 periods. Braden Schneider picked up his lone postseason goal in Game 7, and we still lost. Dog, you can't make this up. So the Rangers have fallen once again. We won 50 games this season. Obviously, that's not going to give us the President's Trophy. We're finishing 3rd in the entire league, 12 years in, and we still haven't won a President's Trophy. Or at least I don't think we've won one. Maybe we have. We tried to run some new line combinations this season. They did not hit. Not hit in the slightest. Marco Kasper was like plus 42 last season. He was plus 41 last season, dropped down to plus 18. Maddox Schultz, we're moving you up to the top line. That medium league potential player we traded for, we are now trading him away in order to bring in a better centerman. Because yeah, we need somebody who can play some cheap center minutes, but is also a good playmaker. And you know who that player is? Bolt. But we traded him away because we want to shake things up. It has just not worked out for us no matter what we do. Things just don't go our way. No, like I really don't know what to say. We can make every right move imaginable and it's still going to backfire and we're still not going to win a Stanley Cup. It's just heartbreaking at this point. Like I don't even know what we do. Now, normally I would be gassed up about a medium top 4 potential defenseman who's beginning as a 78 overall, but not today. I'm not gassed up in the slightest about this pick, because that pick doesn't help us win a Stanley Cup. Now, on top of getting a really good defenseman in the first round, we're drafting a medium league potential goaltender in the 4th round. But once again, what is it going to take for us to win? I don't think Pominville is really going to be the difference for us because we already have our superstar goaltender. We need somebody else that's going to be a game changer. Oh yeah, we also got a low elite potential player with the 223rd overall pick. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, what's it going to take? Now, I really don't know what to do moving forward. Like seriously, I don't know who we bring in to replace players. Weller's not coming back to the team because I'm not giving him that deal. I'll qualify you as an RFA, but you're 100% not coming back to the team at that price tag. Liam Greentree's going to be walking. I don't know what we do. Like, I really don't. Like, we are just in the toughest spot imaginable. We don't have the cap space for anyone. Our top 6 guys who we've all given no movements to aren't stepping up when it matters. I don't want to have to trade Maddox Schultz and Houston away, but we might not have any other choice. So there's some big decisions that are going to have to be made moving forward. Houston, Kasper, Schneider, all of you guys are on expiring contracts. I think Houston is one of the most important players we bring back here. And honestly, at this cap hit, I think we can bring him back. But Marco Kasper, I think there's a good chance you leave the team next season. Also, Houston, apparently you're signing the greatest deal of all time. Like, we're bringing him back to the team for $11.2 million for the next 7 years. That's less money than what he's getting paid right now. Marco Kasper, you want $18.5 million. I just can't do that. Braden Schneider, how much are you looking for? You want $8.4 million. I don't really want to give that to you at 35 years old though, so I think you're going to be walking as well. This could potentially be the last dance with a handful of guys here. Barry Mink, I'm not willing to re-sign you to the team quite yet. We're going to be running some interesting lines next season, but until then, I think we're going to have to kind of sit back and not do anything. Now, I know that doesn't really make too much sense, but realistically, in our top 6, who can we trade away right now? Like, we don't really have that many expendable players. Like, let's just take a quick look at our forwards, and let's look at our top guys here. Houston's not being traded. We can't trade Marco Kasper, Dylan Guenther, or Maddox Schultz. Watton is maybe one guy we could trade away here. Like, we're paying him $8.5 million. He hasn't really been stepping up for me. Like, last season, 16 goals and 20 helpers. Oh no, we're moving on from bro. He's a fraud. So Watton, we're going to move on from you. I think we'll package you up with like a 1st round pick or something. We'll probably try to trade Hunter away. Now, hold on now. I might have a plan here. So here's what we're going to do. Tucker Hunter, I'm trading you away. I'm going to send you over to the Ottawa Senators. Aiden Taylor is going to be brought in. He's going to be a 2nd line playmaker for us. We don't really need Hunter on the bottom 6 anymore. I mean, we do, but we really don't. Here's a 3rd round pick as well. Trust the process here. I'm making some aggressive moves, but you have to trust the process because at this point, we have to get stupid. Now, Aiden Taylor, of course, I'm going to give you an extension immediately because you're going to be on this team next season. You're basically going to be replacing Marco Kasper, but in a different role. So you're looking for 2 years at $9.5 million. Maybe I'll hold off with you because I'd like to do a longer term deal. Now, when it comes to Urkamps, we'll sign him to his entry-level contract. He's going to be jumping into the top 6 for us as an 84 overall because Watton, I'm shipping out your contract. I'm not paying you that much money anymore. So this is what I'm thinking with Watton. We're going to send him over to the Winnipeg Jets with probably a 3rd round pick, and then hopefully that's going to be enough for us to get these 3 bottom 6 players. We need to improve the bottom 6 a little bit, and this deal is definitely going to help with that. But we also get to clear up $8.5 million for next season, so I think it works out for both sides. Now, when it comes to some of these players that we just traded for, I'm looking to bring a couple of them back to the team. So here's 2.9 for the next 2 years. Mink's not going to be coming back, but this other player might be, as long as he's willing to sign a cheap contract. And honestly, this is not too bad. 2.4 for the next 2 years. Maybe we're finally building a little bit of a bottom 6. Before we do move to next season though, we could use a right defenseman for the 3rd pairing. I'm just looking to bring in somebody pretty cheap, maybe somebody who's willing to sign a 1-year deal. But yeah, it does not look like there's anyone willing to sign cheap contracts. So I guess we'll go with this 78 overall right here. Here's 1.3 million. Also, now that we have the cap space, Weller, I can bring you back to the team. I'll do 4.2 for 1 season. You're going to be a 3rd line centerman for us. Please tell me this team is good enough now. Now, we've been through this time and time again. There's not really too much more for me to say. New York, I need you to step up. When the lights are the brightest and we need to pick up some wins in the postseason, I need everyone on this team, not just one person, but everyone on the team to help us win a Stanley Cup. The last time we won a Stanley Cup was the 2029-2030 season. We are entering right now the 2037-2038 season. It's been about 8 years since the Rangers have won a Stanley Cup, and if you were to ask me, that is 8 years too long. New York, not only do I want you to win this season, I want you to win next season. I want you to win the season after that. It's been Stanley Cup or bust every year for a long time, but now more than ever. Now, do my eyes deceive me? But in 2038, the New York Rangers have won the President's Trophy. It's finally happened. We are finally the best team in the entire league during the regular season. Now, will this translate into the postseason? We will find out very, very quick. I am praying that it translates into the postseason because I can't handle another loss. Landry, you have 2 X factors. You're an 89 overall. You put up some incredible numbers this season, but step up in the playoffs. When it matters most in the postseason, I need you to win me some games. 16 postseason victories is what we need. Not 13, not 14, not 15, not 12. 16 victories and 16 wins only. That's all we need here. We need 15 more wins. Make that 14 more wins. Just take it one game at a time. And if you do that, we'll be walking away with a Stanley Cup sooner than later. I knew for a fact we weren't going to sweep the Buffalo Sabres, because why would we sweep anyone in the first round? That just doesn't happen. We're moving into game number 6. We've lost 2 games in a row. It better not be 3, and thankfully it's not. We're moving on to the second round, but I don't like the fact that we lost 2 games in a row there. But I guess at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the 4 wins that we got in the first round. Now we're moving on to the second round, and we need 4 more wins here. Give me 4 second round victories so we can move on to the conference finals. We've won 3 games in a row. Let's make it 4 and move on to the conference finals, but we're going to drop game number 5. Whatever you do, do not drop game number 6. I don't even want to jump into game 7. I really don't, but we will. So here we go. Game 7, a must win for the New York Rangers. We might have had a 3-goal lead at one point, but that doesn't mean anything. We need elite defense in the third, and not only did we get elite defense, but we got elite offense. A 5-2 victory is sending us to the next round. We're not done yet. We have now won 8 postseason games. 8 more wins gets you the Stanley Cup. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs in the conference finals. Give me 4 wins against the Toronto Maple Leafs so we can move on to the Stanley Cup final. I just need 4 wins right here. Give me 1 more win and we can move on. And here we are. The Stanley Cup final. Give me 4 wins in the Stanley Cup final. I keep emphasizing the fact that we need 4 wins in every series. And right now we're down 3-1. We're really going to lose in the Stanley Cup final again. We're really going to find a way to choke this away. And to make things even worse, we're going to do it in game 7. We have made a 3-1 series comeback only to fall apart in game number 7. I've seen it time and time again. I know for a fact we're losing in the third, but we're not. The New York Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. I can't believe my eyes. We won a Stanley Cup. We won the President's Trophy. This doesn't even seem real to me. I can't believe we actually did it. We won another Stanley Cup. Marco Kasper and Braden Schneider are going out into the sunset with a Stanley Cup because neither of them are coming back to the team next season because we can't afford them. But who cares? Stanley Cup champions for the New York Rangers. Landry, 16 wins, 2 shouts, a 914, a 254. We did it. We finally did it again. Marco Casper, you can say you're a 3-time Stanley Cup champ now because you just led us to another Stanley Cup. But of course, the job is not done. We are not stopping in 2038. We don't stop until 2050 because that's the 25-year mark. So we got to keep on rolling. We've won 1 Stanley Cup, but over these next 12 years, I'm expecting at least 6 more. 1 Stanley Cup every other year, the bare minimum. That's the expectation for us. Now, we're all well aware that Mink's not coming back to the team because I just can't afford to give him an extension. So I'm going to send him over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're going to pick up the guy they drafted 2nd overall. He's a medium league potential power forward. He can play some good third line minutes for us. I'll throw in the 128th overall as well, and it looks like that's going to be enough to get this one done. Now, we have $32 million in cap space to work with. However, we are going to be losing a handful of players. But one player I don't plan on losing, Aiden Taylor. He is one guy that has to come back to this team. He played amazing minutes on the second line for me last season. I'm hoping we can do around 13.5 for the next 7 years. I think that's relatively reasonable for him, but is he going to be accepting that contract? It looks like it. So he's going to be coming back to the team for the next 7 years. Marco Casper, you want $14 million for the next 2, and I don't think I'm really willing to commit that to you. So you're going to be leaving the team. Braden Schneider's going to be leaving the team. All these other players that aren't willing to sign 2-way contracts are going to be leaving the team. We'll sign some rookies, but then we'll make some plays in free agency. Now, before we go spend our $19 million in cap space, it looks like Cole Hudson needs an extension, but do I want to commit 14.7 to him? He's 32 years old right now. We don't really need another offensive defenseman. So I think there's actually a chance that Cole Hudson leaves after this season. Yui, more than likely, you're not going to be returning to the team, and you're 1,000% not if you're asking for $12 million. So how about I trade you for a second pairing defenseman? So you know what? How about we just do a trade like this? Yui for Hilbert. He's locked down for the next 2 years, an 87 overall defensive defenseman. We can probably even get a couple picks back in this deal. I think that's pretty easy. So how about you give me a 3rd and 4th rounder? I think that's relatively fair for this deal. They're saying no, I'll take out the 4th rounder. Can we at least walk away with the 3rd? No, we can't. So I guess we're just going 1 for 1. So we're going to bring in 1 right defenseman for 1 season. I'm not sure who that defenseman is going to be, but it's probably going to be somebody on a relatively cheap contract. How about you just give me basically the cheapest player available? Komarov, I guess you're the cheapest player available, so here's 1.3 million. I need somebody who's willing to accept a cheap deal. You're looking for a cheap deal. I think it makes sense. Now, when it comes to somebody else we can bring to the team, if we can bring in somebody on a 1-year deal, that would be ideal. But I'm not too sure if there's going to be any elite players looking to sign a 1-year deal. Like Porter Martone, I guess, is looking for 1 season, but he's only an 84 overall, and I'm not really willing to do that. Like, is there anyone else that kind of makes a little bit of sense? Hyndman, not really. I think if anything, we need a centerman, and this is stupid. Like, this is a very bad deal you're about to see. 6.6 million. We need somebody. On top of a centerman, we also could use a right winger. And are there any cheap right wingers available? Martin, I guess you're willing to sign for like $2 million for 1 season. What if we did 2 years? Then you're looking for 1.9. I could probably do that deal. I'll do $2 million for the next 2 seasons. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that. And I think outside of that deal, we're probably going to be good. Now, over the offseason, we certainly lost some important pieces. Marco Casper's no longer on the team. Braden Schneider's no longer on the team. So that means a hole needs to be filled on our second line. And I think we're going to try to fill that hole with this 80 overall who has medium league potential. He was selected 2nd overall by the Anaheim Ducks. I'm expecting him to be a big-time sniper for us. Right now, he is playing out of position, but I'm going to try to convince him to become a right winger, and then he'll be in his primary position. When it comes to our defense, that still looks elite. When it comes to goaltending, that still looks elite. So nothing to worry about when it comes to that. However, when it comes to our top 6 this season, without Marco Casper, I don't know if we're going to be quite as dominant, but I believe I can still trust this team. Now, we might be entering a new era with the New York Rangers. First in the entire league, a 62-17-3 record. We are looking to go back-to-back, and I think there's a good chance we do so. Houston finally took the next step. We have been waiting for a very, very long time, but he did it. 66 goals, 53 assists, 119 points. This was his best season by far. Like, he posted career highs across the board in goals and assists. He recorded 38 more points than last season's career high. Nah, bro is absolutely locked in right now, and as long as the rest of the team stays locked in here, we're looking to have a lot of success. The goaltending numbers look spectacular. Cole Hudson was also really good, so maybe I actually should give him that extension he's looking for, but we'll figure that out after the postseason. We have Carolina in the first round. Now, I haven't quite decided exactly what extensions are going to look like, but we can't focus on that. We have to focus on the Carolina Hurricanes and the fact that we are absolutely dominating so far. We scored 12 goals in the first 2 games, and now we're not scoring at all. Or at least we didn't score in game number 3. We scored in game 4, and we're going to score in game number 5 and move on to the second round. We're going to keep it simple. or we're going to allow 7 goals. I guess that's an option too. Didn't realize that was an option, but apparently it is. But we'll close out in game 6. Not the greatest start in the world, but hey, we're moving on still. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. We're moving on to the second round, and now we have the New York Islanders. Now, the Islanders have been a really solid team for a long time, so I'm expecting they're going to put some pressure on us, but I think the Rangers can compete with them. We're winning game 1, we're winning game 2, we're winning game 3. We're going to make that a 4-game sweep, and we're moving on to the conference finals. We're halfway to a Stanley Cup, but being halfway means absolutely nothing. The Detroit Red Wings are up next. We're looking to get past Detroit because we want to win back-to-back Stanley Cups here, and the only way we can do that is if we make it to the Stanley Cup final, so we have to get past the Red Wings. We are 1 game away from a chance at repeating, but will we make it there? Yes, we will. The New York Rangers have moved on to the Stanley Cup final. The Seattle Kraken are the last team in front of us. Can the Rangers win back-to-back Stanley Cups? We had a long drought without us winning a Stanley Cup, and not only did we end that drought last season, but we've now won back-to-back cups. The Rangers drought is over and the dynasty begins. Back-to-back Stanley Cups. All the core pieces are coming back next season. Cole Hudson, I have no clue where you're going to be playing next season, but hopefully you're going to be playing for us. Brock Landry, 16 wins, 1 shutout, a 923 and a 225. Your numbers were amazing. I believe that's Stanley Cup number 4 of the video, but of course, like always, we're still not done. Also, before we move on to next season, I might as well just double check with Cole Hudson. What's his extension looking like now? You just had an incredible season, and yeah, I can't do $16 million. That's just crazy. Unless we can get this down to like 13 million, which we can. And then what if I gave you a no movement? Hold on now. Cole Hudson actually is probably coming back to this team because we can re-sign him for $12.5 million. It's about $3 million more than what he's getting paid right now. And truthfully, I think he's worth every penny. Now, this draft was about to turn out to be an absolute bust, but luckily we are going to find a medium-league potential goaltender here in the 4th round. Right now, we have a lot of medium-league potential goalies in the system, so more than likely we'll trade this guy at some point. So we're moving into the re-sign phase with $10 million to work with, and I don't think we have to re-sign anyone. We'll sign 2 rookies, but other than that, we're already ready to roll. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves with the $10 million in cap space we have, there are a couple of extensions that need to be handed out. Maddox Schultz receiving one of them, and wow, you are not helping me in the slightest. We're still going to get a deal done here because we need to keep Maddox Schultz around. But yeah, this is going to be quite expensive. So we're going to do $17.3 million for the next 7 years. That's certainly going to be hurting us. But you know what else is going to hurt us? The fact that we're going to be losing Dylan Gunther. Because yeah, we're not going to bring him back to the team at 36 years old. It just doesn't make sense. Urkamps is coming back to the team as well. However, right now he's only looking for a 1-year contract. So I guess we'll hold off with him. Hilbert, how much are you looking for? Maybe we can get something done. And this is actually pretty reasonable. I'm looking to save as much money as possible here. So I'll actually give you a no movement with a modified no trade. We'll do 50% team protection, and we'll try to get this down to like 9.5 million. Okay, maybe 9.5 is a little bit of a stretch, but how about $10 million for the next 5 years? That seems relatively reasonable for what he provides to the team. And then with everyone else, we'll just be finding cheaper replacements. Now, I don't know if there's really going to be anyone in free agency that's going to be willing to sign a cheap 1-year contract. I can't really imagine it. Like, Weller is looking for one of the more reasonable deals here, and he's only an 83 overall. So that tells you quite a bit. We're not getting any steals in free agency, except maybe we are. Cole Caulfield, I'll bring you to the team just because you're Cole Caulfield, and I think there's actually a chance you sim well. On top of bringing Cole Caulfield to the team, there actually was another player I was interested in down here. And no, that player wasn't Zachary Bolduc, but instead McPherson. I think we could bring you in for $4.4 million. You can play some good minutes for me as well, and then we'll finish it off with 1 right defenseman. Now, who is that right defenseman going to be? No clue. It really just depends on who's going to be accepting the cheapest contract. So it's going to be this medium 7th potential player, but he's only a 77 overall. And I already have a 77 overall in the system, so I guess we're not signing any right defensemen. Alright, Maddox Schultz, I'm going to keep it a $150 with you. We'll deal with you during the re-sign phase, and then we'll go from there. Now, I know for a fact you do not see the vision like I do. Cole Caulfield is playing top 6 minutes. I don't care what this man did last season. 24 goals, 41 helpers for 65 points. He was -2. You might think I'm crazy if I'm going to play him in the top 6 with these numbers. Watch him score 35 goals this season. He's going to score 35 goals. He's going to play big minutes for us, and it's going to make no sense why he returns to his prime. But he will. He's playing alongside a bunch of talented players. He's going to get top 6 minutes. There's no reason Cole Caulfield can't see success at 38 years old. He's also getting a +4 boost for line chemistry, so he's actually going to perform a lot better than people are expecting. So the New York Rangers are on top once again. In the year 2040, they've done it again. The Rangers have won another President's Trophy. I don't know what's with the team seeing all of this success all of a sudden, but I'm here for it. If we can keep on winning at the rate we are, we shouldn't change anything. Except we will change one thing. Cole Caulfield, you were actually significantly worse than I expected this season. So yeah, we're going to throw this guy back on the top line, this power forward who was playing on the second line for us last season. Yeah, he deserves those top 6 minutes again. Cole Caulfield, you're moving down to the third line. That's just the way it is. When it comes to goaltending, Landry was a superstar this season. 53 wins and 10 shutouts. Nah, he was locked in. So we have Tampa Bay in the first round, but before we get into that matchup, Cole Caulfield, you're being demoted to the third line. So the elusive three-peat is around the corner, but we need to win these next 16 games. It doesn't have to be 16 games in a row, but you have to win 4 before you lose 4. It's as simple as that. We might have dropped game 1, but we're responding in game 2. That's a big victory. Game 3 would be an even bigger victory, and it looks like we're taking that one. We're taking game number 4 as well, so let's close down 5 games and move on to the second round. We'll be a quarter of the way there, but unfortunately it's not going to be that simple. We're dropping game number 5. Just don't drop game number 6. It's a must win for us. Okay, boys, what are you doing here? You were up 3-1. Now we're in game 7. Game 7 in the first round against a wildcard team. We won the President's Trophy, and now we're struggling against a wildcard team, but not anymore. We're going to be taking them down to a shutout. It's a 5-0 victory. So maybe I shouldn't be questioning the team as much as I am. We stepped up when it mattered. So we're moving on to the second round, and now we get the Columbus Blue Jackets. I feel like it wasn't that long ago we matched up against the Blue Jackets and they were able to take us down. So it's time for the Rangers to get their revenge. We're going to take down the Columbus Blue Jackets and get our revenge. We're going to win 4 games in a row, and we're going to move on to the conference finals. Now all we have to do is win game number 5, and that's exactly what we're doing. 4 wins in a row, a win in game 5. The boys are moving on. So we've won half the games that we need to win, but now we have Montreal in the conference finals. The Montreal Canadiens will always put pressure on us, but they don't have Cole Caulfield anymore. We do. And apparently that means absolutely nothing. We were down 3-0 at one point. We're allowing 7 in game 5, and we're officially eliminated. And to make things a little bit worse, the Montreal Canadiens are Stanley Cup champions. That should have been the Rangers. The New York Rangers should have taken home the Stanley Cup. You just hate to see it, you really do. But hey, we have a lot of promise in front of us still. We've won 2 Stanley Cups over the past 3 years. I can't really complain that much. Unless we start going back to our losing ways. We better not go back to our losing ways. I can understand us not winning 3 Stanley Cups in a row, like not everyone three-peats. However, we better not lose next season, and then we better not lose the year after that. We better tee up here. Our goaltending wasn't good enough, but neither was our defense, so Landry, I can't really put the blame on you. Like at the end of the day, Malkin was -6, and he had 13 points in 17 games, so clearly we were allowing way too many goals when he was on the ice. That just can't be happening. So we'll make a couple adjustments over the offseason, but at the end of the day, a lot of the key players are going to be returning. Also, before we make our first round pick, I guess it is right that we say goodbye to Dylan Guenther because it appears he is going to be retiring. So we don't have to worry about bringing him back to the team next season because we literally can't. Now, last season I was talking about trading away a medium-league potential goaltender, and I definitely have to do that now because we just got ourselves a gem in the second round. Larry Eberle, you're definitely going to be a superstar with that name. And it appears the elite potential prospects are going to continue because now we're securing one here in the third round. Now, losing a guy like Dylan Guenther is certainly going to hurt the team. Like, we don't really have anyone that can replace him right now. Also, Maddox Schultz don't help me at all, apparently. Here's $17.5 million for the next 8 years. Hopefully you're going to accept that, but I highly doubt you will. Yeah, you're going to say no to that. No surprise. Urkamps, hopefully you're going to be doing something reasonable, and $9.2 million for the next 5 isn't the greatest in the world, but I guess we can get something done. Here's $8.7 for the next 2. Not the cheapest contract in the world, but it's pretty decent for an 89 overall. Meanwhile, Maddox Schultz, please tell me we can do sub 20 million here. Like, we have to do something a bit more reasonable. Maybe 19 million for the next 8. I don't really like that deal. I actually really hate that deal right there. But hey, if it keeps Max Schultz around, I guess it's worth it. Now, when it comes to everyone else on the team, more than likely we're just qualifying these guys as RFAs because there's no way I'm going to be able to afford to bring them back to the team. And I would say moving forward, more than likely I'm not going to be showing you the re-sign phase because these are the contracts we're going to be looking at. $7.2 million for an 80 overall. Obviously, I'm not bringing Bro back to the team at that price. So if these are all the contract asks we're going to be getting, there's no point in you seeing this. If I do have to sign a notable player though, you will be notified. Now before we go ahead and spend all of this money in free agency, there are extensions that need to be handed out, and Malkin, I don't think I can do this. I can't do $22 million. So you're likely going to be leaving. Yeah, that's just going to be a tough deal right here. Also, when it comes to Ilya, I don't really want to do a 1-year deal, so we're just going to be holding off with him. I do think he's going to be playing on the first line this season, but yeah, these are some tough contracts. Okay, we're actually in a lot more trouble than I realized. We have nobody left here. This is our forward core. We are in a lot of trouble, but we'll make it work somehow. I don't know how we're going to make it work, but we will make it work. So with the $10 million that we do have here, what do I really want to do? I have no clue. I don't think we should sign a defenseman. I think the 75 overall is going to be good enough. I low-key do want to try to bring an elite sniper to the team, but I have no clue how we would even do that, especially with only $10 million to work with. But to make things even worse, if I bring in an elite sniper, we have to accept that our bottom six is just going to be atrocious. Like, it is going to be one of the worst bottom sixes you have ever seen, but maybe that's the move. Honestly, I don't really know what the move is here. Yeah, I think we're just in a lot of trouble. I think we should just take the highest overall players available that are asking for very cheap contracts. I think that makes the most sense. So how about you give me a really cheap centerman who's willing to sign for like $2 million on a 1-year deal? Mikkola is looking to sign that exact contract, except he's a 79 overall. Yikes. That is not giving me a lot of hope. I think we're actually in a lot of trouble. Like, I think we're in way more trouble than I realize. Protus, I guess you can come back to the team for 1.1 million. You were with us last season. I'll do 2 years at 1.2 million. Hopefully you're going to be accepting that. When it comes to a right winger, I don't even know who we go with. Parzak, you want 2.2 million. That's not the worst contract in the world, so welcome to the team. But yeah, I have no clue what we do here. Lekkerimäki, welcome back to the Rangers. I believe you were with us a very long time ago. Now you're returning. Now I'm going to keep it $150 with you. I don't really know what the plan is moving forward, but we're just going to try to keep as many elite players on this team as we can. We're probably going to lose some guys, one of those players being Malkin, but we'll keep in as many elite players as possible. It's only a matter of time though before we start losing 90% of this team. But until that moment, we're going to ride with the 8 elite players we do have, and we're going to hope that they're enough. When it comes to the other 12 players on the roster, play your role, and we should be able to win Stanley Cups. Do we just not need a bottom 6? And as long as our top guys are super elite, we're going to be fine, because Houston just had 116 points, 60 goals. Taylor looked amazing as well. Malkin was really good. Problem is, he's probably not coming back to the team next season. Hold on now. Lekkerimäki, 73 points, including 35 goals. This man is on a steal of a contract right now, 4.4 million. Now we might be on to something here. We might just be on to something with this team. Hold on, this might be the next dynasty for the New York Rangers. I mean, technically we're still in the last dynasty because we've won 2 Stanley Cups over the past 3 years. So yeah, we're still in the current dynasty. If we can beat the Philadelphia Flyers, well, we're just making our dynasty look even better. But at the end of the day, all those superstars helped us win regular season games. The depth is what helps you win Stanley Cups. And since we don't have that, we could be in a tough spot here. But hey, let's see how these first couple games go. We lost 4-0. We are in trouble. Lots and lots of trouble now. I have no clue what we're going to do. Hopefully we can somehow get past the Philadelphia Flyers. We need 3 straight wins. Okay, we've kind of locked in. Ignore what happened in game number 1. We have been absolutely elite since that point. Even game 5's loss really wasn't too bad. We lost 2-1. Not much you can do about that. We're going to end up winning the series in 6 games, but this Rangers team might have something special. Because although we did have one balloon game in game number 1, our defense has been spectacular so far. Like, we have been shutting down everybody, but I guess we're not going to shut down Carolina. They're picking up 4 goals in back-to-back games, but we're going to respond with 8 goals in game number 3, but then we're getting shut out. We went from getting the shutouts to being shut out ourselves. Now, that's just certainly not the way you want to go out, but hey, if we can win back-to-back games here, we still have a chance, but that's not going to be happening. We're falling in game number 6 of the second round. I guess we could have used that depth. So the Nashville Predators are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, taking down the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. I don't really know if we can say that the New York Rangers are really building a dynasty if we've only won 2 Stanley Cups over basically the past 12 years now. But yeah, we are not a dynasty, nor are we building a dynasty here because we only have 2 Stanley Cups over the last 4. That's definitely not the definition of dynasty. However, if we can win a handful more Stanley Cups to finish off this video, then maybe I can entertain a dynasty conversation. But as of right now, it's not happening. Also, we might as well just check in with Malkin. What's bro looking for right now? His current contract is 14.6 million, and now he wants 22 M's. Basically, all of our cap space. That can't happen. I can't give you that contract, especially with a handful of other players needing extensions. Like Tikhonov needs an extension and he wants around $10 million. So I'll give him $10 million for the next 4 years. He's playing top 6 minutes right now. That contract's really not too bad. But yeah, Malkin, unfortunately you have to leave the team. There's just nothing I can do about it. Now you know what? Things could always be worse. A medium elite potential defensive defenseman here in the first round. But then again, how much is a defensive defenseman really going to help us? Especially when bro's only a 55 overall. Also, if a medium elite potential defenseman wasn't quite enough for you, here's a high elite potential defenseman. So yeah, all those medium elite potential guys we've got in the past, it's time to move on from all of them. Now we're entering a very interesting part of the video where everyone's just slowly aging out on us. Gordy, I'll bring you back to the team because we have more than enough cap space for you. But hold on now. Wait just one moment. We might have something here. Gordy, what's your trade value? I feel like it's pretty high right now, and we should maybe capitalize on that. And that's what we're going to do. All right, so here's what we're doing. Urkamps, I'm sending you over to Pittsburgh. We're bringing in 3 elite potential players. 3 guys that are going to replace 1 guy. On top of that, you're going to give me 2 second-round picks because I want 2 second-round picks. I think this is still fair. I'll take one of the second-rounders out. This is still more than fair. You're going to give me these 3 elite potential players for our 1 player. This is more than fair, Pittsburgh. You know it's fair. Here's a second-round pick as well. You're going to say yes eventually. Eventually, this deal will get done. Maybe I have to throw in multiple second-rounders, and I'm perfectly fine with that. They want a little bit more. How about I give you a 7th rounder? Here's a 7th rounder for 2042. This should be enough to get the deal done. They need another 7th rounder, a 7th rounder for 2043, and we finally get the deal done. Now y'all are bugging. Here's a medium elite potential goaltender. I don't even know if you're interested in medium elite potential goaltenders. It looks like you are. Here's this 72 overall. He's going to be the difference. Shout out to Palmanville. So we might be losing some players, but we just brought in some replacements. And then Skylar Waugh, this is a deal I've been looking for. This is an absolute steal. What if we did 8 years with a no movement? I want to lock you down for as long as possible. And I actually believe a contract like this would actually lock you down for the rest of the video. So yeah, we got to do this. So I'll do $12 million for the next 8 seasons. I'll actually do a little bit more than that. 12.3 for the next 8 seasons. And Skylar Waugh is going to be sticking around for the rest of the video. Cole Hudson, we're probably riding out your contract. Kondratiev, we're probably going to ride out your deal as well. But that's fine. Eventually replacements will be brought in. Now I'm just really hoping there's some elite sniper here available in free agency that we can bring in for 1 season. I don't think we're going to get quite that lucky, but maybe we can find something here. There is this power forward, but he's looking for 16 million. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Porter Martone, I might as well just call you a playmaker in this game. Like, all bro does is pick up assists. Is there any elite snipers that I can bring in that are somewhat low overalls? I have no clue, but Swift, I guess I can bring you back to the team. Here's 3.9 million. Granted, you haven't been with us for a while, so I don't know why I said I'm bringing you back. You've been gone for like 5 years now. I mean, I guess we could go after Lekkerimäki again. He was good enough for us last season. He can be good enough for us again. Here's $7 million. Is that an overpayment for an 82 overall? Probably. But when you're desperate, you do desperate things. Like signing a 34-year-old to a multi-year deal, that's what you do when you're desperate. Now moving forward, unless the free agent signing is going to be a notable one, I'm probably not going to show it. Like, do I really need to show you this signing right here where we're bringing in a high top 6D potential player? Absolutely not. But shout out to Daryl Neal anyways. So yeah, unless it's a notable signing, you're not going to be seeing it during free agency. Like, I'm not going to show you all the 79 overall players I have to bring to the team because nobody else in the NHL is willing to sign a reasonable contract. Like, we have 70 overall players right now asking for $10 million. What happened to the league I loved? So we had to make some moves over the offseason, and they were certainly some aggressive moves. I guess we'll see what happens moving into this season. And you know what? Let's get a little bit stupid here. Let's really change things up. Taylor, you're on the first line. Schultz, you're moving down to the second line. We need something to spark this team. Cole Hudson, you're playing top pairing minutes. And when it comes to goaltending, well, Landry, you're going to keep on playing that role because you've been our guy for a very long time now. But you need a contract extension. I should probably give you one. For some reason, I thought he still had a couple more years left on his deal. But nope, he needs a contract extension. And that kind of explains why we have so much extension dollar room. Like, I was wondering why we had $33 million. But yeah, it's because we're losing like 7 players. But Brock Landry will bring you back to the team. You don't even care about the bag. And I don't really know how much I respect that. Like, you should be trying to get paid. You should be worried about the bag that you're receiving. And right now you're not. and that has me concerned. Unless you're only focused on Stanley Cups, then I respect the grind, but you should also be stacking your paper, my guy. Get paid. So we finished at the top of the league once again. We had one of the best offenses and the best defense in the entire league. New York, I just need you to step up during the postseason, because there's really nothing more for me to do here. If you guys are going to dominate the regular season and prove that you are one of the best teams in the entire league, I just have to trust you guys. I have to trust that when the playoffs come around, you will step up. If a team consistently wins the President's Trophy year in and year out, and they're always finishing first in the entire league, you just have to trust that at some point they're going to win. And that's the situation we're in with the Rangers right now. We just have to trust that eventually they're going to take that next step. I mean, I'm kind of acting like the New York Rangers have never won a Stanley Cup before, but they have won Stanley Cups in this video. However, they haven't won enough Stanley Cups, because we should probably have more with the Rangers than we do right now. However, that's going to change right now, because we're going to win a Stanley Cup this season. We're going to win a Stanley Cup next season. We'll win a Stanley Cup the year after that. We are going to five-peat over the next 5 years. Are those incredibly unrealistic expectations? Absolutely. But we live for unrealistic expectations. We're taking down the Islanders in the first round. We're moving on. So we're 4-1 to start the postseason, but I think we should make that 8-1. So how about we sweep the Carolina Hurricanes, move into the conference finals 8-1 with an incredible defense. No, the goaltending and defense so far has been absolutely spectacular during the postseason. Look at all these 1-goal allowed games. No, we're locked in. Landry is putting on one of the greatest performances of all time, but is it going to continue? We have the Detroit Red Wings in the conference finals. We have to keep on scoring, and we have to stop allowing goals because we're allowing way too many right now. We're down 3-1. Just when things were looking good, we completely collapsed. No, like I'm sick. Like 3 overtime losses, all of them being 3-2 losses. You guys gotta find a way to score that extra goal. I am putting you guys in a position to see success, but you guys don't want to see success. You consistently find ways to not pick up the extra goal, and that's resulted in us barely winning any Stanley Cups in today's video. Like, I guarantee the goaltending numbers look absolutely spectacular, because looking at these offensive numbers, clearly we were not scoring enough. But when it comes to goaltending, a 931 and a 220, I can't imagine what Landry's goals against and save percentage was before the conference finals. Heading into the conference finals, he might have had a 950 and a 180. He was that dominant. Probably 50% of the goals he allowed came in the conference finals. He allowed as many goals in the conference finals as he did the first 2 rounds. Just put that into perspective. Okay, we're going to make a big deal here. Burke, welcome to the team. You're going to be an elite sniper. You were just drafted first overall by the Devils. You were also a gem, so I have very high expectations for you. Berg Forrest, thank you for the amazing season you played with the team, but we don't need you anymore. We're shipping out a future 3rd round pick as well as the 94th overall. This should be enough. We just got an elite left winger and someone we desperately need. Now we're going to pull off one more trade at the draft. We're bringing in JVR, the new JVR. Jaden Van Riemsdyk is going to be brought to the team. He's going to be a good defensive defenseman. The plan is we're going to try to bring back Cole Hudson for one more season. He can play some top pairing minutes for one more season. But after that, we're hoping that JVR can take over. I'll throw in a 4th round pick as well. Hopefully that's going to be enough. They're saying no. I'm not overly surprised. I guess we'll throw in a goaltender. Who are we willing to throw into this deal? I'll throw in Eberle. Although I thought Eberle was going to be an absolute superstar, I think JVR is going to be an even bigger impact player for us. Now, we only had 4 picks in the draft because of all the moves we made, but the moves that we made are certainly going to make us better. So we have ourselves $28 million in cap space, so bringing Cole Hudson back to the team shouldn't be too difficult. He wants 13.4 for the next 2 years. I guess I can give him a 2-year contract. I wasn't really looking to give him 2 years, but I think we can make 2 seasons work. And you know what? I definitely can at 11.6 million. So Cole Hudson, welcome back to the team for one more season. And then Kondratiev, maybe we can bring you back to the team because you're only looking for 1 season now. Hold on now, maybe this makes sense. Kondratiev is going to come back for one more season. We'll do $12.7 million. Him and Cole Hudson can play 1st and 2nd pairing minutes. We're going to hold off on that defensive defenseman that we traded for, and then that guy can actually jump onto the team next season when our salary cap situation is a little bit worse. No, I think we're cooking here. Lekermacki, you're going to be leaving. Swift, you're going to be leaving. I'm not too worried about the rest of these guys. Now, over the offseason, we didn't do too much. We have a lot of skilled players on this team, a lot of elite guys that can step up. Even though a handful of the guys on this team are aging out, I still believe in them. Like, just look at this defense. 87, 88, 88, 90. We should be able to work with that. And then in between the pipes, Landry's a 90 overall. You would think that this team has won a handful of Stanley Cups in today's video, and technically they have because we've won like 4 Stanley Cups, but you would think by this point we would have like 7 or 8 under our belt, but that's just not the case. We might have won 7 straight President's Trophies, but we certainly haven't won 7 straight Stanley Cups. Now, when you're in the absolute trenches, there's only one thing to do: simulate the entire postseason. Just let it simulate. There's a better chance at you winning if you do it like this than going round by round. We allowed 7 goals in game 1. Yeah, there's no coming back from that. I don't care if we shut them out in game number 2. There is no coming back from allowing 7 goals in game 1. We're dropping game number 4 as well. That's certainly not ideal. We need to win game number 5. It's a must win for us. Whatever you do, don't go to game 7. And I guess we don't have to worry about it. We're moving on to the second round. And now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets up next. Columbus always puts pressure on us, but we always find a way to step up against Columbus. Or at least 90% of the time, we step up against the Columbus Blue Jackets. But we're not really doing that right now. We might have the lead in this series, but the lead isn't good enough. 3 straight wins is good enough though, and we're moving on to the conference finals. The New York Islanders are up next. We've won 2 in a row, make that 3 in a row, make that 4 in a row. We are on a 7-game heater right now, moving into the Stanley Cup final, but can we keep on winning? It looks like we can up until game 7, where we're gonna win one more time. The New York Rangers, Stanley Cup champions once again. Maybe I should just start simulating the postseason like this all the time. Like, we see way more success this way. The Rangers are on top once again as Stanley Cup champions. Good thing we brought back both of those defensemen, but maybe the difference maker was the fact that we didn't win the President's Trophy, 3rd in the entire league. We didn't have to deal with the President's Trophy curse. Since we didn't have to deal with that curse, we absolutely dominated. Also, shout out to Burke, 29 goals and 22 helpers in his rookie season, 51 points. He's up to an 84 overall. Low-key thought he would be a higher overall, but yeah, he was really good for us. Landry, you know he steps up when it matters, and when it comes to the postseason, everyone on the Rangers stepped up. We are Stanley Cup champions once again. Houston, 14 goals, 14 assists for 28 points. Schultz, 27 points. Taylor, 25 points. The boys were just really like that. Look at Burke, 14 goals and 1 assist. That is a pass shoot bias I like. Nah, bro's really going to turn into that guy. Meanwhile, Landry, 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 920 and a 237. He is a Stanley Cup champion once again. His 3rd Stanley Cup with the team. He has 4 Vezinas and 4 William Jennings alongside that. He might be going down as one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Like, by the time he reaches the end of his career, he's definitely going to be in those conversations. But of course, there's still lots of time left for him. 7 years remain. He can pick up a couple more Stanley Cups. He can pick up a couple more Vezinas. And I know for a fact he's going to be picking up a handful more wins. So after winning a Stanley Cup, it looks like our winning is going to continue. In the first round, we're drafting a mediumly potential goaltender, but this man's name is Pete Maw. Nah, you know for a fact he's going to be turning into one of the greatest players of all time with a name like that. Pete Maw, what an absolutely legendary name. Nah, bro's really going to be that guy in the future. So the Rangers are coming off a Stanley Cup. Haven't seen a ton of those in today's video, but that's about to change entering the final 7 seasons. I'm going to be realistic for once. Over the next 7 years, 2 Stanley Cups. That's what I want to see from the New York Rangers. Over the next 7, I want us to walk away with 2. Normally, I would say something stupid like 5 Stanley Cups or 6 Stanley Cups. No, I'm going to be relatively reasonable. Over the next 7 years, I want the Rangers to win 2 more. If you can't reach those very reasonable expectations, then I just give up with you guys. Like, this is the most reasonable I have probably ever been in a video. I think at the 10-year mark, I said I want a Stanley Cup every other year. And obviously, that was not reasonable whatsoever. But over these next 7, I think I'm being relatively reasonable for once. So New York, it's time for you guys to lock in 2 Stanley Cups over the next 7. Now, last season, this method worked for us. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's going to allow us to win Stanley Cups, well, we're just going to keep on doing it. We're simulating the entire postseason. New York, it's time to go back to back. Allowing 5 goals in game number 1 is not really ideal, but luckily you are going to respond in game 2. You'll respond in game 3 as well, but I guess you aren't. Hold on, New York. What are you doing here? You guys should be bringing home Stanley Cups, not losing in the first round in 5 games. No, I don't even care who wins the Stanley Cup. What are we doing here, boys? I set realistic expectations, which was 2 Stanley Cups over the next 7 years. You proceeded to lose in the first round in 5 games. Granted, maybe that's not the biggest upset in the world. We were second in the division, behind Carolina by 3 points, so we had to take on a 50-win Columbus Blue Jackets team in the first round. Okay, I'm actually not going to be overly mad at this. We lost to the 5th place team when we were the 2nd place team. It was a difference of 5 points in the standings. I actually can't be that rattled about this. If we had lost to a wild card team or something, I would have been pretty mad. But no, I can't be mad at this. Like, Columbus was a very good team. We just weren't quite good enough when the postseason came around. Landry put up some amazing numbers once again. Probably won a Vezina, but who cares? We're not winning the Stanley Cup. We're actually falling in the first round. No, what just happened to the boys? They did not step up when it mattered. Landry, these numbers actually hurt me inside. Now, I don't even want to acknowledge this lowly potential player right here because he is 3 overalls lower than the guy selected 2 picks ahead of him. So even though he's a decent first round pick, he's not quite as good as this guy right here who was selected 2 picks earlier. So I can't even be gassed about this. I will get gassed about this. A high elite potential goaltender in the 2nd round. Yeah, we're making a play here. I don't know who we're going to make a play for, but we're going to make a play for somebody. If there is anyone that actually makes sense for us. So I just want to give a big shout out to Hurd before we make this trade. You were absolutely elite for us. Like, one of the greatest players in franchise history as a 47 overall. We will never forget what you brought to the team. And what exactly are you bringing to the team? Well, this medium elite potential sniper, he was selected like 3rd overall or something. He's an 80 overall. He's immediately going to jump to the lineup and be an impact player for us. Dog, what do you mean everyone's contract expires at the same time? I didn't realize this until now. Everyone's contract on this team expires at the exact same time. So yeah, we're actually not going to bring Greg back to the team, even though we have $39 million in cap space. And why do we have $39 million? People retired on us. I don't know who retired on us, but we lost some players here. Maddox Schultz is still here, so we didn't lose him. Cole Hudson's probably gone. No, we lost some people here. I don't know exactly who we lost, but we certainly lost players. Like, Cole Hudson's gone. I guess that does free up like $12 million. Did we lose our starting goaltender? No, we did not. Landry's still here, but we lost people, but we'll be back. But with that being said, Greg, I'm still not bringing you back to the team because you're looking for way too much. Here's your $8 million qualifying offer, but we'll be all right. All right, so we got to make a handful of big moves here. This first package is going to be sent over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're getting a medium elite potential centerman who's on a cheap contract. Perfect, because now we have to give out a bunch of extensions. So we have to make sure that we have money for all of these key players right here. You already know for a fact Houston's looking for an absolute bag. 19 million. But we should be okay because Houston's always signed very reasonable deals with me. So I'm thinking we can get this down to like 17 million for the next 7 years. So Houston, here's 17.5 million for the next 7 years. You're coming back to the team. Taylor probably wants $20 million, and he does. However, he is our number 1 centerman, so I'll bring him back. It's quite expensive, but we can get this done. So we're going to end up doing $21 million for the next 8 seasons. A huge bag, but he's worth every penny. Hilbert's contract's up next. He's currently getting paid $10 million. He's looking for 16. I think we can make this work. So we'll do $15 million for the next 8 seasons. I'm really hoping he's going to be coming back to the team. Tikhonov, I'm a little bit scared with your contract, but right now you're only looking for a 1-year deal, so I guess I'll hold off with you. Burke, how much are you going to be looking for? 9.6 for the next 2 years. That's actually relatively reasonable. And given our salary cap situation right now, we'll just do $9 million for the next 2 years. I would have liked to lock you down for the rest of the rebuild, but I can work with that deal. Also, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we gave this highly potential goaltender a contract extension. So how about we do 2 years at $925K? I think he's going to be taken over sooner than later. Now, even after we've had all those extensions, we still have $40 million in cap space for this season. So Foot, welcome to the team. You're going to play number 1 left defensive minutes for me. This is a no-brainer. So what we're going to do with Foot is I'm going to give him $14 million for 1 season. He's going to play some big first pairing minutes. And then when it comes to the rest of the team, I don't really know what we're going to bring in, but ideally some cheap players. And this guy isn't necessarily cheap. However, he is an 86 overall. So here's $12 million for 1 season. Welcome to the team. And with the remaining $14 million that we have, we'll probably just sign some depth players. Now, for a quick moment there, I was actually very concerned with this team. Like, I thought we were going to be losing all of our key pieces, but nope, we have the cap space to bring all of these guys back to the team. So that's what we did. We brought all of them back to the team and we're ready to run it back. Except this time, we're not going to run back a first round loss. We're going to run back a Stanley Cup win. So the Rangers have a chip on their shoulder after what happened last season. We will not be seeing a first round loss this season. I refuse to let that happen. We will not lose in the first round. Houston, he's going to lead the way like usual. Taylor was pretty good. I mean, it's the usual suspects here. Nothing really crazy. The same guys stepping up like usual. Nothing to worry about. Brock Landry, a superstar once again, but can he be a superstar in the postseason? Can we get our revenge against the Columbus Blue Jackets? Well, we better be able to, because if we don't, we're a first round exit. So we have the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. I need the Rangers to lock in. Lock in at a level you have never locked in before. Okay, what are we doing? Why is it a game number 1 loss again? We can't keep dropping game 1, and we can't keep dropping game number 3. I don't like the fact that we're heading into game number 5 and the series is tied right now. That can't be happening. Luckily, we're taking the lead in this series, but game 6 is a must win. A bigger must win than we have seen before, and we're coming out on top. So we're moving on to the second round, but the job is not done. The job is not done until we hoist a Stanley Cup, and in reality, the job is not done until we get to year 25, and right now we're not in year 25. We are in year 20 right now, so we got to keep on winning. We have to win for another 5 seasons after this one. Things are looking really good against the Philadelphia Flyers. We have a 3-1 series lead, so we should be able to close this one out, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are 8-3 so far in the postseason, and we're moving on to the conference finals. And in the conference finals, we're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. We faced Carolina a handful of times so far, and we've already won game number 1. But can we win game 2? Yes, we can. We're not dropping back-to-back games, so that means we have a 3-1 series lead. We are 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final, but are we going to need game 7? Yes, we are, because we're blowing a 3-1 series lead. So game 7 is going to be the most important game. I thought game 6 against the Columbus Blue Jackets was the most important, but apparently not. This game right here is going to be the most important, and whether or not we can step up in the third period, but we are stepping up. No surprise here. The big time players stepping up when we need them to, and now we're in the Stanley Cup final. We are 4 wins away from hoisting a Stanley Cup, and we're 4 wins away to being halfway to our goal, because our goal was 2 Stanley Cups over the next 7 years. If we win one right here, all we have to do is win 1 over the next 5, but let's not worry about the next 5 years. Let's focus on this season right here and us having a 3-1 series lead, but it's no longer a 3-1 series lead because we're coming out on top in 5 games. The New York Rangers, Stanley Cup champions once again. We've already won 1 Stanley Cup, so we just need 1 more over the next 5. Do I want to get a little bit greedy here and say 2 Stanley Cups over the next 5? Absolutely, but let's start with 1 Stanley Cup. And Houston, you were a dog. Taylor was a dog as well, but this man had almost 2 points per game, 17 goals, 23 helpers. Nah, he was on a different level. That man was dominating. Landry was dominating. At 35 years old, this guy has a very good argument for being the greatest goalie of all time. 4 cups, 5 Vezinas, 5 William Jennings. Now, at some point, he should have won an MVP trophy because this man's been performing at a different level. But the Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. We have a majority of the team signed for next season. I'll double check with a couple of extensions, but I feel like we should be okay. Tikhonov, it's time for me to give you an extension. How much are you looking for? 17.8 million. You know what? We can make this work. But if I sign you, who am I losing? Honestly, nobody too valuable, so we'll make this happen. Of course, I'm going to give you a no movement so we can save some money, but this is going to turn out to be a decent enough deal, and I lock you down for the rest of the video. I like that deal right there. I think 14.6 million is an absolute steal for bro, so welcome back to the team. And we might have had 6 picks in the upcoming draft, but unfortunately we're not going to walk away with any superstar prospects. We did get a couple medium top 6 potential forwards, but I don't get gassed up about medium top 6 potential forwards. Now when it came to the re-sign phase, we did absolutely nothing. Like, I don't even think we signed any rookies. When it comes to extensions, only one player needs an extension, and that's going to be JVR. JVR is coming back to the team. Of course, we're giving him a no movement because he's going to stick around for the rest of the rebuild. Can we do like 10.8 million? 10.8 seems pretty fair, but I'm going to do 10.7 just so I can save a little bit more. Meanwhile, when it comes to goaltending, Landry, I'll deal with you at a later date. Like, I think more than likely if I do try to bring you back for next season, you're going to be willing to sign for like $5 million because you're going to be 36 and you'll be down to like an 83 overall. But until then, We'll just see what happens with you. Now, I wasn't 100% sure whether or not I would be able to say these words again, but the New York Rangers are the reigning Stanley Cup champions. And heading into this season, we have some big expectations. And what exactly are those expectations? A repeat. We are looking to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, potentially Landry's final run with the team, because he's no longer the starting goaltender. This is going to be his final season with the team. He has exact fringe star potential. His role is only a starting goaltender. We had some incredible years with him, and I think it's only right we win one more Stanley Cup. Or at least it's only right we win one more Stanley Cup with him. I want a couple more over these next 5 years. Now, we've had some good teams in the past, but never a team like this. A 66-13-3 record. No, we're really on different timing this season. This doesn't even make sense. The entire team, even the bottom six, spectacular. Look at the plus minus numbers. Nobody was bad here. Even the 70 overalls were elite. Landry, you were an incredible backup, but look at this man as our starting goaltender. 52 wins, 9 shots, a 930 and a 202. Nah, he's our guy moving forward. Alexander Kovalev is definitely the guy, but can he win when the lights are the brightest? We will find out very shortly. No, we've built some elite teams in today's video, but we are yet to build the team this good. This Rangers team was on a different type of timing this season. We're looking to go 16-0 in the postseason. We're looking to allow as few goals as possible. No, we're really just locked in right now. We're even sweeping teams in the first round. That doesn't happen very often. So we're moving on to the second round, 4-0 so far in the postseason. We have the Philadelphia Flyers up next. I can only imagine the Philadelphia Flyers are going to put some pressure on us, and they definitely are. They're winning game number 1, but we're winning back-to-back games after that. We just scored 19 goals over the past 2 games. We scored 22 goals over the past 3 games. We outscored them 22-2 over a 3-game stretch. How on earth does that happen? Dog, we outscored them 27-2 over these last 4 games. 2 shutouts, a 10-1 win, and a 9-1 win. You don't see dominance like this. Dominance like this does not exist. 27-2, that might be the most dominant run I've ever seen. What do you mean we outscored them 27-2 over the course of 4 games? That doesn't even make sense. I don't even care that we lost game number 1 against them. 27-2. We are 12-1 entering the Stanley Cup final. This Rangers team is something else right now. The Utah Mammoth are ahead of us. We have a chance at repeating. Can we win 4 more games here? I'm not going to lie. If we swept Utah, I actually would have been a little bit upset because that means we would have went 16-1. But as long as we win the Stanley Cup here, then I don't care what our record is, as long as we come out on top, and we're coming out on top. The Rangers are Stanley Cup champions once again. Nah, this was a historic postseason. The offensive numbers are going to be on a different level. I already know that. Maddox Schultz, 1 goal, 24 assists for 25 points. Low-key, I thought these numbers were going to be crazier. I thought we were going to be looking at somebody with 35 points in 19 games. Nah, we just dominated. Straight up, every game was domination. Alexander Kovalev, 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 935 and a 177. His very first postseason appearance, he put up numbers like this. Nah, this guy is different. So far in 2 regular seasons, he has a 64-16-6 record with 9 shutouts, all 9 shutouts coming this season, and then in the postseason, nah, these numbers are something else. Landry is going to be picking up another Stanley Cup as the backup goaltender, so he's going to be walking away with 5 Stanley Cups, 5 Vezinas, and 5 William Jennings, 5s across the board. Nah, Brock Landry, you're definitely a top 5 goaltender, and I would make the argument that you're probably top 3, and you might even be top 1. 537 wins, 64 shots, a 916, a 252 for your career. You were that man. But with that repeat, I can happily say we have now won 2 Stanley Cups in the final 7 years, but we have 4 more years remaining. So how about we pick up a couple more? Okay, at this point, we have drafted too many elite potential goaltenders. I didn't think that would be possible, but dog, almost everyone we draft now is a medium elite potential goaltender. It's getting out of hand. At least it was out of hand in the past. because in the second round, a medium league potential playmaker. Now, we're not going to trade Bro this season, but we will next season. And then whichever rookie we trade for, well, they're going to be signed their entry-level contract for the final 3 seasons. Now, there's only one guy we're looking at here, and that's Vernarski. Unfortunately, though, he is looking for $10 million, so I'm just going to qualify him as an RFA. I guess I'll end up trading him for a rookie, but there is one other guy we have to sign, and that's this 80 overall who's going to be signed their entry-level contract. Bro's immediately jumping into the lineup, and I think he's going to play some great minutes for us. Also, Landry, I would like to say goodbye to you. You played some great years with the team, but you know what? Your job's not done. We're bringing you back. $3.6 million. You're the backup next season. I'm not turning my back on you quite yet. Was that objectively a really stupid deal? Yes, but we vibe anyways. Now, after watching what Kovalev did last season, we have to bring Bro back to the team. We are not bringing Bro back to the team. 16 M's. Dog, you're wildin'. So I think what we're actually going to do here is trade you away, because we have to prep for the future. Burke, how much are you looking for? You want 13.8 for the next 3 years? Hold on now, we actually could be onto something here. This actually might be the move. We'll do like $11 million for the next 3 years. I'll give you no movement. We're actually doing less than that. Can we get this down to like 10.5 million? We'll do 10.7 for the next 3 years. You're going to be returning. No, I have a plan here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Kovalev, I'm going to send you over to the Calgary Flames. We bring in somebody that was just drafted 2nd overall by the Calgary Flames. We're bringing in a medium league potential goaltender to play in the AHL, and you're also going to give me 2 second-round picks. I guess you're not giving me 2 seconds, maybe 1 second. We have to throw in a 7th-round pick, but I'm willing to do this. So this is going to turn out to be a good deal. Kovalev, although you're amazing, you're just looking for way too much. So here's where our next deal is going to be. Vernarski, I'm sending you over to Vegas. Woodworth's going to be brought in. Now the plan with him is he's actually not going to play at all this season. But instead, I'm going to send him back to juniors for 1 more season. So when he does join the team, his entire contract's just going to run out the final 3 years in the rebuild. So we're not going to have to worry about him or the centerman that we picked up from Calgary, because neither of them are going to play until the final 3 seasons. So that's going to help the cap situation for us. So after making those trades, there's actually only one last thing for us to do here. We just need to sign 1 right defenseman. Now they don't have to be a superstar, they just have to be willing to accept a cheap deal, and this is our man. Lampman's going to be the guy for us. I'll do 1.2 million for the next 3 years. He's sticking around and he's going to be our guy. So the 2 young rookies that we picked up last season aren't going to be playing for us this season, because we're preparing for the final 3 years. If we can win a Stanley Cup this season, that would be amazing. However, that's going to be very difficult for us. We're clearly not as talented as we were last season, but I think we'll still be okay. Bill Rizzi's the number 1 moving forward. Brock Landry's going to be backing him up. If we have to turn to Landry when it matters most, honestly, I'm not too concerned. I don't care what his role is. I don't care what his potential is. He's stepped up for me time and time again. I have my faith in him. So New York, you know exactly what you have to do here. You're winning another President's Trophy. You're dominating the league once again. Taylor's going to lead the way with 106 points. Houston's picking up 102, but you guys know what you have to do. Although we weren't quite as dominant as last season, that's perfectly fine, because we will step up when it matters. It doesn't matter who is in between the pipes. We have an elite goaltender regardless. Bill Rizzi's going to be the guy more than likely, though. We're taking on the New Jersey Devils in the first round. Just do what you've done the past couple of years and we'll be fine. Like, we've already won 2 Stanley Cups in our final 7 seasons, but now we're down to the final 4 seasons, and I think a reasonable ask is winning 1 more Stanley Cup. I think 1 more Stanley Cup over these final 4 seasons is actually very reasonable. I've been a lot more reasonable in these final 7 seasons, and that has resulted in us seeing more success. However, in saying that, we are struggling against the New Jersey Devils. It's a best of 3 moving forward, and we're dropping game number 5. Hold on now. What are we doing here, boys? We are not a first round exit. This team does not lose in the first round unless we do lose in the first round, because we've actually lost in the first round a number of times so far, so I can't say we don't lose in the first round, because we actually do quite frequently. However, that hasn't happened quite yet in this series against the Devils. We're moving into game number 7. This is a must-win for the boys, and we've been able to step up time and time again when the lights are the brightest, but we've also folded when the lights are the brightest, so who actually knows what's going to be happening? Sims picking up a goal in the second period. I was actually contemplating trade for this guy, and maybe I should have traded for him. Omark's picking up a goal as well. Nah, ain't no way Omar had 2 goals in this game. Bro used to play for us and now he's eliminating us in the first round. That's not right. So we have 3 more years remaining and we're looking to win 1 more Stanley Cup. Our goal was originally 2 in the final 7 years, but we ended up winning those 2 Stanley Cups really early. So we have to adjust the goal. 1 more Stanley Cup in the final 3 years. That means we walk away with 3 Stanley Cups in the final 7 years. You might as well just call that 1 every other season. And honestly, I could live with that. Bill Rizzi, your numbers were really good. Apparently, our offense just didn't exist. Okay, this is a little bit stupid, but we have to pull off a 3-team trade. I just want the 31st overall from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Cool. Now we're going to pull off a deal with the Ottawa Senators. I'm going to be trading all of these assets away, but it's going to work out for us. Because after trading all of these assets away, we're going to walk away with a guy who was drafted in the top 5. He's an 82 overall. Andronov is going to be an amazing player on our bottom 6. The fact that I have to give up this much, though, is actually a little bit crazy. Now, I might be thinking, why didn't I just trade away that medium elite potential player from last year? Well, he's already developed into a 72 overall, so he actually might be useful for us pretty quick. Okay, things just seem to keep on working out for us. We just got ourselves a high elite potential goaltender. Let's flip that player for the guy that was drafted 1st overall. So that goaltender we just drafted is going to be incredibly helpful for us. However, we do have to pick up a 1st and 2nd rounder. So that's what we're going to get from the Colorado Avalanche. Now we're going to flip these assets over to Chicago and get the 1st overall pick. You know what? I'm changing my mind here. Instead of picking up the 1st overall pick, how about we get this player from the Carolina Hurricanes? They're a good right defenseman, and we need another right defenseman on the team, so that deal actually makes a bit more sense. Now, I'm not going to lie, seeing Maddox Schultz as an 82 overall does hurt me. Like, I just can't believe bro is actually an 82 overall. What we're going to end up doing with all that cap space, though, is I'm just going to throw it at this guy right here. We'll give him 12.5 for the next 5 years. He can continue to play some second line minutes for me. But yeah, that just hurts. Meanwhile, Rizzi, what are you looking for when it comes to a contract extension? I can keep you around for the rest of this video. So here's 7.7 million for the next 3. The team's basically set. Also, Landry's returning once again to be the backup. Like, bro's just him. We have to keep him around. Who is this? Who is Park with low franchise potential? Maybe I should trade him. His trade value is probably ridiculous. You know what? We're actually not going to do that. It probably wouldn't hurt having one good young goaltender in the system. Plus, we need somebody to play AHL minutes. Now, overall wise, we haven't had a team this good in a long time, but we're here. The New York Rangers for the next 3 years are going to be the best team in the entire league, and we are going to be so good, we're going to three-peat. That's how dominant we're going to be. A three-peat to finish off this video. We're done with realism. Let's get stupid once again. Landry, this is like your final season, but you're going down as one of the GOATs. So the Rangers are going to keep on winning the President's Trophy. Truthfully, I expect them to win the President's Trophy in the final 3 years because I can't imagine any team being ahead of us. We have more depth than everybody. We have better defensemen than everybody. We have better goaltending than everybody. We are just better across the board. I don't know why I looked at our defensive scoring, but you saw those pretty good numbers. Landry, even as like a 70 overall, an 11-2-1 record, bro is still him. Rizzi was amazing as the starting goaltender, but can we walk away with the Stanley Cup here? We have the Washington Capitals in the first round, 3 postseasons remain, and of course, we want to walk away with the Stanley Cup in all 3 of them. Now, of course, I'm making this seem a lot easier said than done. Like, just win 3 straight Stanley Cups. Not too difficult, but it is significantly more difficult than that. But if we play to our potential, I don't know if anyone can beat us. We're beating the Capitals in game 1. We're beating them again in game number 2. Truthfully, I think we should sweep the Washington Capitals here, but I fully expect they're going to put up a fight over these next 2 games. But maybe I'm wrong. We're sweeping them in 4 games. So we're off to a pretty good start. 4-0 to start off the postseason. The Washington Capitals couldn't hack it with us, but maybe the Pittsburgh Penguins can. But we've won 5 in a row. Can we make it 6 straight victories? Maybe 8 straight victories, back-to-back sweeps, but it's not that simple. We won 7 games in a row before we gained shutout, but now we're moving on because we're winning game number 5. We have the Islanders up in the next round. They must have swept their opponent, or it was a 5-game series as well, but I don't really care because this team is flying. 12-1 so far in the postseason. We refuse to lose. At this point, we have lost 1 game in the postseason. So you're telling me Nashville is supposed to beat us 4 times? That's not happening. A sweep over Nashville. We really could have gone 16-0 if we didn't drop this game right here. No, I'm low-key annoyed. Like, we could have went 16-0. Perfection. But we couldn't go perfect. We had to lose 1 game. Taylor was a superstar. Houston was amazing. But why did we drop that 1 game? We didn't have to lose that 1 game, but we did. 16-1 in the postseason. No, that one loss actually breaks my heart. But at the end of the day, we're Stanley Cup champions once again. Landry gets to walk away with another Stanley Cup. I believe that's his 6th so far. I think that means we've won like 7 or 8 Stanley Cups in this video. Low-key, we've been a lot more successful than I'm giving our team credit for. Alright, so we're just immediately heading into next season because there's actually nothing for us to do. Our team is the exact same as last season, and it's going to be the exact same team next season because we have absolutely everyone coming back, except we got to change things up here. Javon Park, I think you're going to be a superstar goaltender. Right now you have low franchise potential, but I don't want you as our backup because instead I want to rock with a different guy. I have no clue how this man has not retired, but for some reason he is still with the team. Landry, you're the backup goaltender. We're sending Park down. We need Landry on this team. He has been here for so many Stanley Cups. We need him here for another. Like, truthfully, the goal on top of winning 2 more Stanley Cups to finish off this video is we need Maddox, Schultz, and Landry both here for the final 2 seasons. They are 2 guys we can't move on from. Now, I'm a little bit concerned for the Rangers right now because somehow we didn't win a President's Trophy. Not too sure how that happened. Maybe Landry was losing too many games, but the reason I'm really concerned, we have to take on the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round. There was only a 4-point difference between these 2 teams, so you know for a fact Philly is going to put some pressure on us, but I don't think we have to worry because we have a culture changer, a guy who has been here since day number 1, maybe not quite day 1, but Landry, he's an absolute dog. He is telling the boys exactly what they have to do here. He is only a 74 overall, but the intangibles that he brings to the team, he's basically a 99 overall. He's bringing the morale up. He has the boys calm heading into the postseason. They know what they have to do because Landry's let them know. So it's our second last postseason run. We're the reigning Stanley Cup champions, and I think we're going to go back-to-back. Maybe even a 3-peat to finish off this video. Maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself, but so far we're looking amazing. We've already taken 2 games away, but we're dropping game 3. We're dropping game 4 as well. Not really ideal. We need to win some of these overtime games. We've dropped back-to-back OT games, but now we've lost 3 in a row. Are the Rangers falling? The Rangers could potentially be falling in game number 6, but I don't think that's going to happen because we're going to lock in. All the big time performers are going to step up when it matters. We're moving on to next season. We don't need to see what happened in the 3rd. In case you're wondering, yeah. So let's move on to next season. The final year. Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Landry just couldn't take it anymore. He is calling it a career. He's not going to be returning to the team. Luckily, we still have Maddox, Schultz, but I don't even want to move on. I don't even want to continue without Landry, but we will for 1 more season. We're winning 1 last Stanley Cup for bro. So here we go. It's the last dance for the New York Rangers. 1 more opportunity to bring home 1 more Stanley Cup. Now, I don't know if this team can do it, but I believe in them. I have so much faith in this team, it's ridiculous. We have stepped up time and time again. Rizzy's won us a couple Stanley Cups. Landry's not on the team anymore. He decided to retire. That's perfectly fine. We are going to win this Stanley Cup in his honor. Shout out to the GOAT in Landry, the greatest goaltender of all time, and you can't change my mind. Bro was him. So it all comes down to this. 1 final season. 1 final President's Trophy for the New York Rangers, but we want 1 last Stanley Cup. 1 more Stanley Cup for all the legends here. All the legends who have put in the blood, sweat, and tears. It all comes down to 1 final season. Our last chance at another Stanley Cup. This one's for Landry, a man who is here since day 1. He was here through the dark times and he was here for the great times, but we're going to win this last one in his honor. On top of winning this one for Landry though, we want to win this one for Maddox, Schultz. Bro has been with the team since what, year 4 or something? He has been here for like 22 years at this point. He's been on this Ranger team for over 20 years for sure. And with him still with us, that means we have a shot at a Stanley Cup. As long as Maddox, Schultz is here, we always have a chance. We were amazing in the first round against the Pittsburgh Penguins. 3 goals allowed over the course of 4 games. I will take that any day of the week. We're moving into the second round now, and we have the Philadelphia Flyers up next. Unfortunately, we're dropping back-to-back games. It better not be 3 games in a row. Is this really how we go out? After dominating round number 1, we fall. But no, we aren't. We are not falling quite yet. We just scored 9 goals in an elimination game. We are off to game 7. We have all the momentum in the world. I think Philly's scared. Philly is scared. They are not prepared for us in game number 7 because we are going to keep on scoring goals and we are going to win this game. We are taking game 7 away. We are making a 3-1 series comeback and we are off to the conference finals now. Philly, you had the perfect opportunity to eliminate us, but you said, nah, we're going to fold when it matters. 3 different chances to take us down and you couldn't take us down, and since you couldn't, we're going to go on to win a Stanley Cup. We have a 3-1 series lead on the Boston Bruins. We're taking them down in game 5. It all comes down to this: 4 more victories gives us the Stanley Cup. 1 series to decide it all. Can we take down the Chicago Blackhawks and win a Stanley Cup in our final season? We split the series so far. Moving into game 5, it's a must win. We're going to be closing it out there. I shouldn't say we're closing it out there. We're just taking the lead in the series. Game 6 is where we close it out. It all comes down to this final game right here. 1 more game to decide it all. Can we close it out right here, or are we going to need game 7? Well, of course, we're not going to need game 7. Back-to-back goals in the 3rd period. The New York Rangers are going to finish it off with 1 more. That was for Landry, and that was for Maddox Schultz. The New York Rangers are walking away with another Stanley Cup. Our 25-year rebuild is complete. This team actually did better than I thought. I have to give this team a lot more credit because how many Stanley Cups did we win? Over these 25 years, we were actually more dominant than I'm giving our team credit for. Bill Rizzi, a 931 to 207 with 2 shutouts. Of course, he had all 16 wins. Bro was an absolute stud. Landry should have been here for that final Stanley Cup, but unfortunately he wasn't. Maddox Schultz, I'll take a quick look with you. How many Stanley Cups did you win with the team? You won 8 Stanley Cups, and that's not including this 9th one we just won. So over the past 25 years, we won 9 Stanley Cups. I don't think there are any NHL fans out there that would complain with 9 Stanley Cups over the course of 25 years, and technically it's over the course of 24 years, because we just simulated season number 1. We were also rebuilding for like the first 3 years, so you can make the argument we won 9 Stanley Cups over the course of like 21 seasons. We almost won 1 Stanley Cup every other year. New York, I'd like to apologize. You guys were actually significantly better than I was giving you credit for. Like, there was a long time where I was just ripping on this team, saying they never stepped up in the big time moments. But they did step up, and they stepped up big time. So we'll take a quick look at the franchise records for the New York Rangers. Maddox Schultz is going to lead the way with seasons played, 22 seasons to be exact. No, that's crazy. He's going to be playing in 1,804 games. Houston's picking up 752 goals. That's going to be the most all time. Maddox Schultz, 1,090 assists. That's the most all time for the Rangers. Houston's also going to lead in points with 1,559. Kondratiev, he's going to lead in all-time penalty minutes with 2,005. Not going to lie, that's kind of crazy. And then, of course, Landry, 570 wins, 67 shutouts. He was really that guy, going down as one of the greatest players of all time. When it comes to player games played, Alexander Ovechkin, 1,901. No, that doesn't even make sense. Goaltender games played, Sergei Bobrovsky, 1,882. Ovi's going to finish at the top in most goals, 1,106. Most points, of course, is going to be Wayne Gretzky. No surprise there. He's also going to be leading in assists. Not much of a surprise. When it comes to all-time wins, look at our man, Brock Landry, 570. He's going to be 4th all-time. If he just played 1 more season with us, he would have been sitting 2nd all-time, only behind Marty Brodeur. When it comes to shutouts, we're not going to find any of our guys there. 50-goal seasons, we're not finding any of our players. When it comes to 100-point seasons, though, we will find Houston, who's picking up 9 100-point seasons. Over the course of these 25 years, we saw ourselves a ton of amazing players. A lot of absolute legends that were able to break some incredible records. But New York, I didn't give you guys enough credit. But in saying that, I also didn't give myself enough credit. 9 Stanley Cups over the course of 21 competing seasons? Nah, we were actually way better than I was giving us credit for. I can't think of an NHL fan out there that would be upset with only 9 Stanley Cups over 21 years. I would take that any day of the week. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, we haven't done something like this in a while, comment Landry, because what an absolute legend. The greatest goaltender of all time. I don't care if Marty Brodeur had more wins. That man won Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup, Vezina Trophy after Vezina Trophy after Vezina Trophy. He was really one of one.